See everybody in here. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everybody out there. How you doing today, Coop?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, man. Had a great broadcast this past Wednesday. Shout out to everybody over there. I think it was a very successful event. You did a great job interviewing, some of our esteemed guests at the venue or at the event. And I see the people in the chat like some of our guests as well.
Right. It was really, excuse me, I'm sorry. It was really fortunate to be down there. It was really impactful. Shout out to everybody that contributed. FDL Compound has kind of opened us into their family, into their family's arms. And it kind of felt like family. Even, when the cameras went off, Mike, I went out there to catch some footage. And I'm going to post the footage. I'm going to send it over to you, too, because I want people to really, really see what they're doing down there.
Definitely.
Just motivational speeches rooted in faith that were given at the end and rooted in uplifting other people. And everybody literally came together all in one big circle, and just, it was just, it was beautiful.
It was a beautiful time,
it was much
man.
needed.
It was a beautiful time, much needed. Great cause, and I'm about to get in this gym real heavy too, because I ain't like the way I was looking on camera. So shout out to Fred. He said he's gonna get us right, and you know what I'm saying, like blood, sweat, and tears, we going in.
I mean, Mike, you seen what some of the folks up in there was looking like, man.
Yeah, man.
Females alike. It was looking, they're getting it tight in there. Like it's summertime.
I'm competitive. CJ Kid with the super chat says, I didn't want to ask on Wednesday because I was. It was an important event, big in the music, but I wanted to hear your opinions on the track I sent you guys. Thanks. You got any opinions on CJ Kid's track real quick?
No, not yet.
You know what we can do, CJ Kid? And hopefully you don't hit us with a copyright thing. Maybe we could play some of it at some point in the show. And you know what I mean? Like, if you're cool with that. Since you're a big-time contributor, we'll play a little bit of it on the show and speak to it then. I know it was a lot going on Wednesday. I wanted to say this Wednesday, but we kept, transitioning and whatnot. But, rest in peace to Tina Turner. It's a big loss in the music business, music industry, point blank, period. And did you see, there's a couple things. You know what? We usually start off our show with the sports stuff, and then we'll get right into the music so we can get more people to come into the room. What do you think about this Celtics surge? You think that the Heat are going to go ahead and close them out in 6, or you think that the Celtics can take it in 7?
First of all, click like and subscribe.
Yes.
To our page. Be part of the tribe. Mike, originally I picked Boston, then quite frankly, Miami pimp slapped them for a few games. And I say pimp slap, Mike, because we're going to be talking about the Jay Worthy and Rock Marciano album. What really has happened is that reality has happened. It's what goes up, must come down. The Heat have played out of their mind. Now, what I don't expect to happen is that for either team starters the next game to amass over 100 points just within the starting unit, which is pretty much what the Celtics did. The Celtics had 4 players score 96 points.
Yeah.
That's abnormal in the playoffs.
Yeah. And you can't, honestly, man, you can't win like that. Playoffs is collective effort,
Well, I mean, it's just rare that you have 4 players that click like that at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like in a playoff game, even if you're at home, like that's just rare. 2 or 3 maybe, 4. That's rare to have 4 guys go like over 20, like with some room to breathe. Like they all could have got 30 maybe.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't think Vincent's going to be out game 6. If he's out game 6, then he are in trouble. But going back home, having their original lineup, and having that home crowd with them, I think the Heat should be able to close it out. But I even said they needed to go ahead and complete the sweep because the way that the schedule is set up for this series, the momentum can shift easily. And I think the momentum has somewhat shifted. Yo, CJ Kid just dropped a $20 super chat and is bringing up something that I wanted to talk about in this show. I mean, I guess we're going to have to jump into it. But go ahead.
Let's finish this Miami Boston thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
go ahead.
Miami has to finish this off tomorrow
Oh,
night.
they have to. And all the things I said about Jimmy Butler, which I still believe, he has to make sure that this happens in Game 6. Has to. Going into Boston in a Game 7 situation and losing 3 games in a row is not going to fare well for them. It's just not. CJ Kidd with the $20 super chat showing love says, "Who Shot You was originally supposed to be Big Keith and LL. Big Keith and LL. Excuse me. I guess he means Keith Murray. But I think LL thought the Big was taking shots, so he recorded "I Shot You" as a response to Big, and just like with the message, Pop thought it was for him instead. Did you see this? It was on Sway's show, and I forgot the individual that was saying this, and maybe the people know in the chat because it was sent to us on our Instagram, and he said that "Who Shot You" by Biggie wasn't about Pac, it was about LL. And he said that LL's "I Shot You" was a response to "Who Shot You." And honestly, that makes sense. And so, I was listening to the original "I Shot You," not the remix, the one that most people know. And I love the original one too. It's actually one of my favorite LL songs in that time period. But when he said, what it was in the second verse, guys, he was like, because they said, all right, the line that Big said that was for LL was the old school, new school, need to learn though, right? And LL was like, baby boy reminiscing old school shit. And I thought that was at Pac, honestly, because of the old school song. But if you put these two things together, "Who Shot You," "I Shot You" being the answer to that, it makes sense. And a lot of the stuff that L's saying on the "I Shot You" does sound like it is going to Big. And so the individual that was on Sway's show, and y'all let me know in the chat who that is. I don't want to, be like that. He said Big didn't really like LL like that because he said LL copied too much. And that's the part I wanted to harp on because I don't really understand what that means. What does that mean? Who did LL copy?
Do you feel like is that going back to the adopting of Kane's flow? Because Kane's from Brooklyn.
Exactly. And and that's where my mind went. And when
where L from, Mike? Where L from?
Mm-hmm.
L from Queens, right?
Yeah.
Kane from Brooklyn. Where Big from?
Brooklyn. And then what it also made me think about? I seen the same shit happen to Kane. 3 cuts in your eyebrow. Like, who are you talking about? Y'all jacking, fuck the flow, you're jacking our slang. I seen the same shit happen to Kane. Who are you talking about?
I thought that was the Locks, though.
No.
The J thing, that was the Locks. 3 cuts in your eyebrows trying to wild out. Remember around the same time, wild out.
No. That song was slightly before Wild Out.
No, same time.
Same time period. That's fine. But I think that but when he said, even if he's talking about the 3 cuts or whatever and people biting or whatever, when he said, "I seen the same shit happen to Kane," the Locks didn't bite Kane. Who is he talking about?
He was talking about people biting his style now. That's why he said, "I seen the same shit happen to Kane."
But I'm saying, when he saw it happen to Kane, who is he talking about?
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? And
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's like, it seems like Big and Jay, because you would think, especially Big and Jay, we know the interesting relationship between Jay and LL and how far they go back now that we're just now learning that part of it. But L was always the mark. L was always the guy to aspire to be at that level. And so it's hard for me to imagine that somebody like Big and even Jay growing up in New York City and their introduction to hip hop, like most of us, especially people a little older than us, their introduction to hip hop was LL Cool J from a massive level, especially from a young person's perspective. Because at the time you had Run DMC was out there, crossing over. But LL kind of represented that young generation, and that's that age bracket that Big and Jay are in. So
yeah, because they're literally only like 3 or 4 years,
yeah.
Like Jay's only like 3 years younger, maybe, and like Big like 5.
So he represents the youth, and to say he didn't really like LL like that because he copied too much, that sounds like something he found out later. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't really look Mike, at L and say he copied anybody.
No. Actually, Mike, what I'm saying is that because they're from Brooklyn, and because think about this, like I think if go look up and see how old LL is in his relationship to be like Big and Jay right quick, because what you probably have in Big and Jay are two really, really big Kane fans who are some Brooklyn niggas who grew up in Brooklyn, who grew up on Kane. So when they're hearing L on the radio, they're like, hold up, that's Brooklyn style. Like, hold up, you know what I mean?
Well, they're not just Kane fans, Cool. Kane actually had Jay around, like, you know what I'm saying? And Biggie,
Mr. C is responsible.
Exactly.
Kane's DJ.
Yes, exactly.
Correct.
Mr. C is
so
Kane's
Kane is very
DJ.
Instrumental to Big and Jay being here, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Mr. C is Kane's DJ. Mr. C put Big on. So this is insider stuff. Now, this is me, 10-4 Koofy.
It's Brooklyn stuff too, though, Mike. That's
what I'm saying. Of course, it's Brooklyn stuff. LL's 55 years old. I think Jay is
about 52.
I think Jay will be 53 this year. No, he's 53 now. He'll be 54 this year.
See?
Yeah,
very close. So that's what I'm saying. So when L, so think about this. So when L is doing
Big would have been 51, I believe.
So when L's doing the Kane thing, when it's like 90, right?
Yeah.
So let's say it's 90. So L is 20, but Jay's 18, 19, and Big is like 16. You know what I'm saying? You know how you are at 16, 17, 18, Mike, especially if it's a dude from your neighborhood.
Follow me real quick. What if?
I don't know if that's a good idea. Every time you tell me to, Mike, every time you tell me to follow you.
What if? And I don't know any of this stuff. But what if, Big and Jay grew up idolizing LL Cool J like most of us did? And most people in their era did, right? What if they get in the game or get close to Kane? Because all of them are Kane insiders. Big work with Kane early before, Ready to Die, any of that stuff dropped. And like you said, Mr. C is a connection there. Jay was straight up connected to Kane. What if they get in the game and they discover that maybe Big Daddy Kane wrote some things that Marley Marl produced for LL Cool J, and maybe as fans, you know how we are as fans, if you looked up to somebody for a long time, you just get disappointed. Is that a possibility? Is that a possibility that, maybe someone told them, you know what, or maybe the man himself, so you know what, I wrote Around the Way Girl. I wrote Booming System, Pink Cookies in a Plastic Bag. I wrote Jingle and Baby Remix. Uncle, L, Future of the Funk. I don't know. What if those are the things? Because when you say
this is why we're not following you anyway.
No, because when you say he copies too much, when you say he copies too much, that directly coincides with the whole fuck the flow, you're jacking our slang. I seen the same shit happen to Kane. Well, when you say he's copying too much, who or what is he copying? I don't think, from the outside looking in, doesn't look like LL copied anything to me. All of this stuff looks like LL. Doing it is LL. You know what I'm saying? The only person that would say something like that, and it seems very consistent with Jay and Big, is somebody who knows something that we might not know. That's all I'm saying. Hypothetically.
I just think we would have heard something by now is all I'm saying, Mike.
Well, maybe.
We literally, after all these years, we literally do just have the conjecture.
Oh, it's only conjecture. But you know what? All right, follow me again.
Okay.
Follow me again. So, if you're in the 80s, right, and we see, KRS, Kane, Rakim, they didn't really want to go, and Kane has said this himself. he didn't really want to go in the direction the industry was going in as far as calling women bees and hoes and things like that in the gangster rap. So he kind of faded to the back. Now, what if the opportunity presented himself where your producer, the guy who produced, for Biz and you wrote for Biz as well, presented you with an opportunity to say, you know what? I know you ain't really feeling the business side of it right now. LL is a superstar. Anything that he makes is going to ride. You write it, get paid, you're good. You don't have to go out here on tour. You don't have to record. You don't have to deal with the industry. You take that, right? I would.
Yeah. So, hold on,
and all you got to do is say, you know what? If people ever ask you about it, I ain't write that shit. Like Rakim does with Summertime. Like, we know Rakim wrote Summertime. Let's keep it real. But you got to say no because, the checks got to keep coming in. I think that's a dope deal. Now, for the people on the outside who might know this.
You're saying there's a non-disclosure agreement?
Who knows? Hypothetically. But for the people on the outside who don't have to have a non-disclosure, they can think and say whatever they want. You know what I mean?
You be wild.
I'm just putting out scenarios.
Just want to let you know you be wild.
Andrew agreeing with the super.
People be thinking that it's me. Like the hashtag #BeCoop is very problematic, but
hey man, I'm just kind of putting the puzzle pieces together because I think the person that sent that to me, and I'm gonna shout them out in a minute. I think they were sending that because a lot of people think Who Shots is about Pac or whatever, and to kind of I guess close that and say, okay, it was a Big and LL thing. But the thing that I got most out of it is when he said that Big said LL copies too much. And I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Did we have that on record being said anywhere, though, Mike? Because that's the part, too.
You're right. But you know what we do have on record? I seen the same shit happen to Kane.
We do have that on record.
That's on record.
I always thought that was a lock shot, Mike. Wow.
It probably was. I mean,
they're recording around the same studios around the same time, Mike. But you're talking about the inverse of the bar, saying that when he's saying that in reference to Kane, he's talking about L.
Yeah,
but a lot of niggas Jack Kane style. It's Kane.
To me, I could close my eyes and hear "Around the Way, Girl" and hear Kane's voice in it. I went and played Pink Cookies in a Plastic Bag yesterday, and I was like, damn, that could be Kane too. I don't know. Andrew Green with the Super Chat says, Joe Budden, Only Human is my favorite song. It got me through hard mental health times. It's a powerful side note. Did the 2022 yearbook ever drop? We just didn't get enough support for the yearbook, and we just don't have enough staff and all that. So it just didn't make monetary sense for the time and the sweat equity that's put in it. But, as we grow, you're going to get those. You're definitely going to continue to get those.
Cost of goods versus productivity rate.
Right.
Divided by the labor. And then you put the product out.
I'm sitting here doing math like that meme or whatnot.
The math.
Yeah, but it's a great concept, and we're glad that y'all love it. And
it was fun, though. I think it was great work for us in regards to giving us some editorial and actual layout and design knowledge and capabilities about some future endeavors, possibly.
Yeah.
COGs.
And like I said, as we grow, it'll just get better, But for right now, we kind of put it on pause. Matt Max with the Super Chat says, and LL is better than Biggie. Big lucky to LL and end him off like he did Kane and Cannabis. What do you think a LL and Biggie rap battle would look like, though?
I think go listen to the Flavor in Your Ear remix.
I mean, I was listening to I Shot You, man. That's a strong response. I think what happened was they wanted him to put that remix together and make that the single so this didn't become a thing.
Can I ask you something, Mike?
Yeah.
Where's LL's verse for you on the I Shot You remix? Where would you rank it? Because it's not better than Prodigy or Foxy's verse, in my opinion.
It's not better than Keith Murray's verse either to me.
I don't think so. I was about to say about Tyler Keith.
Where I would put it, this is how I would rank that song, and you've sold me on the Prodigy because Prodigy's killing it lyrically. I'm gonna go Prodigy, Keith. Um, Man, I don't know. That Foxy and L is close. What the fuck? I thought I conquered the world.
I
Crush
think
Mo
this
Deep,
Fox.
Hammer, and Ice T's girl. But still, niggas want to instigate shit. I battle anybody in the rap game quick. No, I don't know, man. I think I'm going LL third. Female rappers too. I don't give a fuck, boo.
See, I thought that was
Word.
a shot at Foxy, which is what let me know how great Foxy's verse was.
The other thing that he was saying and go listen to I Shot You, y'all. Y'all can listen to it while we're doing the show. But when he kept saying your wife, I'm like, he is talking about Big. You know, I'm more convinced listening to LL's quote unquote response that was a real story than I was just listening to Who Shot You. You know what I mean?
I mean, Mike, prove it then.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says some people felt that LL took some of Shan's style when MC Shan got popular. That's what I heard. Mad Max in the super chat says the word is Hov and LL had an unofficial battle. Heard that too. CJ Kidd with the super chat says you guys can play the track, but I'll tune out because I hate my voice. I know my chat brethren will have a laugh, but F it. Let's have some fun. Most definitely. We're going to get that in. Mad Max with another super chat says, Mike, stop. Stop this. Nobody wrote for LL. Mad Max is probably going to curse me out. He says, this is the same Big who copied Kane himself and was copying Nas's album cover. That Biggie? Yeah, not about the slander LL. Him, Kane, and Rakim are off limits. Yeah, the New Yorkers are mad at me right now. KC1 with the super chat says, Jay is the last person to talk about biting. Michael Williams with the super chat says, rank their offensive ability best to worst. Jordan, Kobe, T-Mac, Melo, and KD. Offensive ability or efficiency? I mean, because the thing is, man, we look at Melo and KD as some of the best scorers of their era. But, I mean, Michael Jordan's documented with his scoring. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just a killer with the scoring. I think Jordan's offensive ability had to be number one because he averages the most points all time. It is what it is.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it because it's like, well, this is what I mean is that, well, even with that, Mike, the numbers would probably still lean in Mike's favor. One, I would tell you if I was picking it, though, it would probably go like one Mike and then two Durant. I don't know if Melo would be. See, here's the thing, Mike. When you want to look at it from that perspective, it's like people forget. It's like, look at, like imagine somebody like Larry Bird had he like played more.
I'm gonna look at it in a different way, right? I'm gonna look at it from
like because there's different ways to look at it. Here's what I mean: if you want to go scoring average and say Mike was the greatest, yes.
I'm going for mentality because Mike and Kobe were trying to score every play.
But this okay. So here's what you're doing when you're doing that, though.
Yeah,
you're qualifying the intangible, and when you qualify the intangible, the thing about it is that people have to be there to see it. So only the people who really saw it will understand that. That's why there's a legion of people that think that LeBron is the GOAT because they haven't seen that intangible thing that we know Michael Jordan displayed pretty much our whole youth and teenage and young adult lives. You know what I'm saying? For about 15, 20 years of our lives, we saw what he did. And so it was like,
coming at you every play.
But for somebody that didn't see that and sees LeBron, you see, they don't understand that intangible thing. And that's why I can't look at it that way because it's not fair to the previous that passes on, and it's not unfair to what's ahead that didn't see necessarily. Because here's what I tell you: Mike has the highest scoring average ever. Kevin Durant has the best true shooting percentage ever. It's at 61%, Mike. It's like literally ahead of everybody else.
He's a better shooter than everybody mentioned.
Like, no, like ever, Mike. Like in the history of basketball, like of all people who have like over 15,000 points, Kevin Durant has the best true shooting percentage. As in, when you combine field goal percentage, free throw, 3-point, and when you hit the buckets, Mike, that's your true shooting percentage. He's 61%. So from that perspective, he's the best scorer of all time because there's a gap between him and the next person. I think the next person might be Jerry West or Mike, but I think the gap is larger than the Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan scoring gap. Like that's, yeah.
I think that he's the best shooter. This is how I would put it. I would put Jordan.
He's the best offense. He has the best skill set.
Right. It still has to be applied. And again,
Mike's the application of the skill set. If you want to talk about he applies his skill set better than Durant does his, then yes, that's where I would tell you the advantage is.
Because if we're going in a closeout game, and we were just talking about this during the Phoenix series.
Oh, I'm not taking KD.
No. If we're going in a closeout game and I say, yo, man, this nigga got to put up 60. I don't trust KD to do that. And you know what I mean? But I would trust Jordan, Kobe, and even Melo to do that.
Huh?
I would trust Jordan or Kobe to do that.
Okay, so when you say that, though, that's easy to say, Mike, except for, like, KD's numbers say that that's not true. Because he's actually been in those situations, and the numbers reflect that he actually has, like, performed in those moments. That's what I'm saying.
He performs. I don't want to say that he doesn't perform.
I
know he watches this show, but not to the level of Jordan and Kobe.
Mike, but, like, when you're saying you wouldn't trust him, it's like you are talking to somebody that has literally the second highest Game 7 scoring average ever, next to LeBron James.
Well, I wouldn't trust him over Jordan or Kobe.
Right in front of Steph. You know what I'm saying? No, I feel you. But also, too, it's like when you get in Mike, you know, like when you get in Kobe, Mike, you're getting 45 to 48%. When you get in Mike, you're getting 48 to 51%. When you get in Durant, you kind of starting at 50, Mike.
But you're a lot more selective, which is good to an extent. But when you need a guy who's just going to go out there and put it up and don't think as much and just really add that pressure to the defense, you're not getting that with KD. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to that level. It's a lot more calculated.
And I don't. Again, like,
and listen,
Mike,
I don't want to
Kobe level. Mike LeBron didn't do that. Larry Bird didn't do that. Magic Johnson didn't do that. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. I don't want to sound like I'm knocking him for being calculated because, again, LeBron always makes the right basketball play, and he gets knocked for that. But sometimes when it comes to, I guess, our entertainment and us wanting to see people that are just going to go out there and, you know, be a straight up killer, that's not always the approach you want. You know what I'm saying? CJ Kidd with the super chat says, also 14 shots to the dome was criticized at the time for trying to sound like the West Coast. Specifically, Cube, Cypress Hill, and Souls of Mischief. Now, if we're talking about LL's ability to adapt to what was going on, I think that's different than copying because honestly, both Big and Jay did that. You know what I'm saying? And Jay is a big proponent of adapting, you know, over time. That helps your longevity.
As soon as you did this Biggie LL thing, I was like, I was about to joke and be like, where Brooklyn at?
Mel with the super chat says, Jingling Baby sounds like Kane's flow. It does. I mean, are we going to sit here and deny that? It does. Not Jingling Baby, Round the Way Girl. Now, I will say this, and because I ain't saying that hypothetically L didn't write all his stuff, whatever. Because clearly, Mama Said Knock You Out, that's L. That sounds like L. Same thing with the I Shot Ya remix and the original. That sounds like L. But if you close your eyes and listen to Round the Way Girl, Pink Cookies in a Plastic Bag, you listen to Jingling Baby remix, that stuff sounds like Kane. It does. I mean, it is what it is. Could you not hear Kane? I need a girl with extensions in her hair. Bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair. A Fendi bag and a bad attitude. That's all I need to help me get in a good mood. You know what I mean? Like, that don't sound like Kane to y'all? I mean, you're quiet.
Mike, we've had this talk numerous times.
We have. But the Biggie thing just brought it back. Mad Max to the super chat says, based off ability, it's Kobe, MJ, Melo, Mac, T Mac, and KD. KD is a better scorer than all of those guys, but he's just talk. I'm sorry, he's just talk and can't dribble. To me, it's about when the zone. I'm sorry, about when they're in the zone, who can get off the best. Pause. Let's see. I think I saw another one from Mad Max. Mad Max says KD is just tall. He's a better scorer than everyone except for MJ, but off of ability, it's Kobe, MJ, Melo, T Mac, KD. But Bernard King is a better scorer than all of them, including MJ. You don't have enough evidence to say that, man, Max. Mitch with the super chat says, got in here late and I heard the basketball discussion earlier. We need to have a discussion about Tatum in elimination games. He's been showing up. Don't speak too soon. Got 2 more of those. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what a Biggie and LL battle would sound like. What Biggie did to me, which I think makes things cloudy, it could be clever or whatever, but I think Biggie went too subliminal sometimes. Because it's like,
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Because subliminals
because when I brought up the whole long kiss goodnight thing, Mike, you were like, Coop, that's obvious. That's not even subliminal.
It was obvious to
subliminal
me.
Now.
But
so
see,
how is he subliminal now?
No, I mean, again, even that, you were able to deny some of the bars because they were still somewhat subliminal. And I think that's the problem with subliminal. Now, it can be creative, and I think Big was probably approaching it from a lyrical, creative standpoint. But especially back then, subliminals can be confusing. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like, okay, this person over here thinks you're talking about them here. This person over here thinks you're talking about them here. Saying all that to say, who shot you? If this was about LL, I think a direct shot would have cleared up a whole lot of confusion in that situation specifically. Right?
How he ended up on the Flavor Ear remix? How he ended up getting managed by Puff around the same time? Just how he
that
ended up on the Flavor Ear remix.
That could have been part of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
did Big's comeuppance lead to LL being mismanaged by Puff? Seeing how that kind of coincides, it's kind of 95. It's kind of like Big's blow up moment.
At the time, LL had Puff did a great job in kind of, keeping LL relevant to that current generation. And he kind of rejuvenated LL in a sense. And, we even saw with that whole Bad Boy Daddy's House studio mix that there were some things going on and some beefs that were, coming from people who were in-house. Even the Jay and Mace thing. Like, Jay was recording at Daddy's House, Puff studio. While Mace was recording what he was recording, they were making records about each other around the same time. So even being close in that way, that didn't prevent, the back and forth from happening. Maybe it could have been one of those things where Big met L and he wasn't feeling the love. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what happened. Because he clearly was around, like you said. I remember thinking this back in the day. You remember that lounging video? The lounging remix?
Of course.
The dude that he had in the car looked like Big to me. And I remember I was a kid. I was like, is that Big? And now I'm seeing this a little different now. What your man got Castro and escrow? Damn, but your honey ran away like presto. Alakazam. Man make the money, money never make man. You still faking Jack throwing rocks in her hand, see? I don't know. Lot to unpack here. Mad Max with the
very problematic.
Mad Max with the super chat says, go look at Bernard King highlights. This guy's a scorer easier than any player I've ever seen on film. And he had a bag and he dropped 42 on MJ easy in 1992. CJ Kid with the super chat says, I'm gonna assume you guys feel Who Shot Ya is better than both versions of I Shot Ya, huh? I think they're all great songs. I mean, yes, but if somebody said the Who Shot Ya, I Shot Ya remix is better than Who Shot Ya, I wouldn't be saying they're crazy. I know how Coop feels because you got Who Shot Ya extremely high.
The beat. I didn't say the record. The beat.
Okay, well let me ask you: Who Shot Ya or I Shot Ya remix?
Oh, it's still Who Shot Ya, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, Loungin' is a perfect song.
Lounging's not perfect, but you want to know?
You don't think Lounging's perfect?
Almost.
That hook is beautiful.
It's not. You want to know what? Lounging's dope, but here's what I'll tell you. Trackmasters once again, Mike, on Mr. Smith, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't think they get enough credit for the job that they did on there. I mean, think about it, Mike. We got Hey Lover.
Yep.
We got Hip Hop. We got Doing It.
Mm-hmm.
We got No Airplay. We got Loungin', the original, and the Loungin' remix. We got I Shot Ya and the I Shot Ya remix. That's all Trackmaster shit, correct?
I've always been critical of Trackmaster's work with Nas, but with LL, they knocked it out the park. You know, Trackmasters is sneaky. Don't nobody want it with Trackmasters in the verses. They might get embarrassed. They could pull out a whole bunch of records that you be like, oh, I forgot about that. But no, I Shot Ya is one of my favorites from them. CJ Kid with the super chat says, also Doing It was originally for Big, but LL snatched it and made it what it is today. Well, it is that Brooklyn chant at the beginning. It's a lot to unpack here, huh? We're going down a whole rabbit hole here. I would like to have seen a Biggie LL rap battle. I might take LL in that. I might.
I mean, you're not wrong for necessarily feeling that way. I don't know. Big is Big is such a marksman. Like
he is.
He really.
But we never really seen Big come with one full record where it was like, like the No Vaselines, like the Ethers. It was always, a little shot here and there. He was coming with jabs. We never really saw Big come with a knockout punch.
I don't know, kicking the door, Mike.
You feel like that was still very subliminal.
It's very subliminal, but Mike, it's a lot of knockout. It's a lot of
Ain't no other kings in this rap thing. You kidding?
Siblings, nothing but my children. One shot, they disappearing. It's ill win. MCs used to be on cruddy shit. Took home, ready to die. Listen, study shit. Now they on some money shit. Successful out the blue. They lightweight, fragility. My 9 milli make the wife shake. That's why my money never funny. I don't know, Mike. Your reign on the top was short like leprechauns. Mike, that's one of the best rap start-offs ever. Your reign on the top was short like leprechauns.
As I crush so-called Willies, thugs, and Rapadons.
Yeah,
get in that ass quick, fast like Ramadan.
Quick, fast like Ramadan.
Jeez.
The rap phenomenon. Don Dada. Fuck Papa.
But
you guys call me Francis. MH. White intake light totes. Tote iron. Was told in shootouts. Stay low.
Crazy. Now.
That shit crazy.
Do you follow me again?
Mike. It's very, very clear.
Follow me again.
That doesn't sound subliminal to me at all.
Well, I mean, he never says any names. That's what I mean. Now, follow me again, right? What did Cannabis say on Second Round Knockout? That shit was the worst rhyme I ever heard in my life, because the greatest rapper of all time died on March 9th. Cannabis, you got some information for us?
That's after all that, Mike.
No, I feel you. I feel you that's after all that, but you don't think Cannabis knew what was possibly going on, if that's true? It's an interesting, you know what I mean, to put in a diss record for LL to bring Big up. I don't know. Just trying to connect the dots here. Since somebody, wanted to put this out there, I mean, it's part of hip-hop history. Obviously, it's done, but a lot of these records that we thought were directed at certain people, it shifted a little bit. Mad Max with the super chat says, LL also said on Drink Champs that if he made one more chance, they would call it a love song. So he stayed sending darts at Big. Huh. I didn't see that interview. That's interesting to me too. I mean, I didn't know there was a Cold War going on between Big and LL. Like, all of this is new information to me, and actually unpacking all of this, it's like there actually was something going on. And I guess maybe Jay inherited it. Now, they're both in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now, and everything's good, but I think from a competitive standpoint, you think that there's a notion out there where some of L's peers and, some of the people who grew up on L don't respect his pen like they should. Because I think that's where all of this comes from.
I don't know why you started all this on this Friday.
CJ Kidd asked the question and, thought we would do a deep dive on it, That's what it feels like. Like how people say that we, quote unquote, don't give Ludacris the props that he deserves here in the city. I want to know from an out-of-towner's perspective. I'm from Atlanta. I don't know, what I'm saying? Like, I respect New York, been to New York many a times, love my folks up there, but I don't know what the consensus of people in New York is when it comes to LL. Do they feel LL's not top-notch or something? Like, because I don't see where all this disrespect for LL comes from. I feel like he should be held even higher than he is. I'm the one that wrote that article that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame had been skipping out on him for 10 years plus. I don't understand
it. Does it? So, I mean, you know what I'm thinking about? I think it was on the album Phenomenon, when he was like, mirror, mirror on the wall, who was the man before Tupac and Biggie Smalls? Mm-hmm. I'm remembering when he said that. So that was when it let me know that it was even the coming up with the greatest of all time thing.
You're right. I remember that promo CD. Yeah.
Because when Pac and Big died, that was, you know what I mean? And he was like, oh, how did that happen?
Even him coming up with the GOAT, the acronym for the GOAT, Pac and Big's name was in that. Because I think he did greatest of all time. Yeah, like you said, it was those bars. It was the Big and Pac thing. I forgot the exact bars. But he involved their name in this whole greatest of all time in, naming that album GOAT. And I know at the time, we were in high school, we're like, L's tripping, but I get it. I mean, L's done everything. Well,
remember the Phenomenon song? GOAT. She said she loves some Tupac but hates some LL. Mm-hmm. It was obviously a touching thing for him.
Yeah. And ever since the X's and the Jiggers came out, niggas ain't trying to hear that smooth shit you talk about. Hustling niggas made their way into the game, extorting these so-called rappers with big names. AB Studio with the super chat says, y'all remember when Tupac dissed LL on Lil Homies? I remember that.
You up here starting shit, Mike.
No, man. I know LL's recording the album with Q-Tip right now, man. It's just this positive motivation and whatnot. I mean, whoever was on Sway's show talking about this was starting some shit. We not supposed to talk about this?
You.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says, LL.
I was over here kind of like trying to play it off like, yeah, okay. She just kept
I love L, man. You know how I feel about L. I think that
not from the way you talking in these streets.
What am I saying?
I don't know.
I don't know what. All right. Let me clear up something real quick. Let's just say hypothetically, Kane did write Round the Way Girl. I ain't saying he did, or whatever. I'm just saying hypothetically. If Kane wrote Jingling Baby or whatever, I ain't got no problem with that at all. Like, at the end of the day, both of them win. LL gets a hit. Kane gets to stay in the game, and you know what I'm saying? And because we don't have no problem with Nobody Beats the Biz and stuff like that. Kane gets to eat. LL has a hit. LL keeps it going. I have no problem with that. It's not like LL can't write. We know LL can write. He's the blueprint for solo rappers in this game. It is what it is. To me, he's the first hip hop superstar or star, let's say. Either or. So yeah, I have no problem with that. So I don't want that to be, misconstrued because no one talks about the fact that LL wrote MC Light's verse on self-destruction. Nobody holds that against her. Funky Fresh, dressed to impress, ready to party. That's his pen. So I love LL. He's a legend, one of the greatest ever, and he should get that respect. I just want to know from New York why New York don't be giving him the respect that they should. And I can imagine him being around as long as he had been around, and he saw a MC who's very talented, like Big, come up, and within a year and a half, people are saying he the greatest ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how does a person like LL supposed to take that?
I mean, the male ego is a very fragile thing, Mike. Probably didn't take it too well.
I earned my stripes.
Well, you have to understand, too, that Tupac and Biggie are also doing numbers that L didn't do, really. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like that's what people don't understand about Big's run. Big amassed a lot of platinum and gold real quick, Mike. And I ain't talking about chains and rings and shit, Mike. I'm talking about records.
Yeah.
Like, the stuff that he was on was going gold or platinum pretty much, Mike. Can't you see? No, it's going gold or platinum. You know what I mean? Like, just go look at it. Like, look at it when it happened. I'm talking about when it was happening, it was happening.
I always had this theory, man, because I always have wondered why L isn't held as high as, some of his peers and people who have come after him. I've always felt that L just needed a classic, hands down classic album in the 90s that competed with the great hip hop albums of the 90s. And I think that maybe people would look at it different. But again, you have to understand he came from a different era of album making. His album making process wasn't the Chronic, Ready to Die, I'm telling the whole story album. His album making process was making bangers. You know what I'm saying? And I think as time went on, where people evolved the hip hop album making process, he kept his original process. And people looked at his albums different than they did the Illmatics, the Reasonable Doubts, the Ready to Die. And I'm just naming the New York stuff, because we're talking about New York and LL's relationship. You know what I mean?
No, and I get that part too, Mike. But what I will also submit to you is that that's where, like, Trackmasters actually, I think, gave L an excellent format of how to kind of lace an album. Like, I don't know if you remember Mr. Smith, but part of why I enjoyed it so much was because of how they structured the album, the way that it played.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the actual song sequencing and structure, it's different. Like, go listen to L's albums before Mr. Smith. Even the stuff that you think is classic, it's more classic about the classic songs
right,
than it is how the album plays. Mr. Smith might be his album that plays the best, Mike. Even if you don't think it's the best, it plays the best, like, from beginning to end.
It's the one album that he made that was an updated formula to the way albums were put together.
So that's 95, 96. That's right in the middle of all that Big Nas, Tupac, Jay, Wu-Tang, OutKast. So it's like he had something right there. That's what I mean. It's like we're kind of understating Trackmasters, Mike. Mr. Smith, it was written.
But even when we talk about the 1995 hip-hop classics, we never really mention Mr. Smith like that. And it's unfortunate because we should.
Listen to it now.
No, we should. It aged very well. CJ Kid with the super chat says, LL, I'll rock your motherfucking bells, Tupac. Yeah. He said that at the end of my homies. Man, Max with the super chat says, Biggie and Jay just hating LL because he was the pretty boy that they think they were nicer than, but getting all the love from the joints that Big probably heard Faith and Kim say LL can get them whenever. Dave Lewis Love with the super chat says, what if the tracks Molly Marl gave LL were originally Kane's? LL was dancing a lot like Kane, In the Jingling Baby remix video, I mean, when he comes in the door doing the Running Man in that way, I mean, it's the first thing I always thought. Like, oh. But I do think that Jingling Baby, in my personal opinion, is LL's best end-to-end mic performance on a record.
Jingling Baby, like mic performance?
He's going crazy on there.
He is.
He's going crazy on there.
I don't know if I'm. It's still Mama Said Knock You Out for me.
Really? Shotgun blast of her when I rip and kill at will. The man of the hour, tower of power. I'll devour. Yeah, he was going in on there. I would say the breakthrough from Bigger and Deffer's album. The breakthrough he went in.
Ill Bomb's up
I loved him on Ill Bomb too. But yeah, Ill Bomb was crazy.
Ill Bomb's crazy.
And again, that doesn't sound like anybody to me. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't sound like Kane or nothing.
That's L.
Yeah. So I'm not. So when I'm saying these things, I'm not saying that L can't write. But what if he was doing? What if he was doing Kane a solid, saying like, "Yo, man, I know you're tired of the industry or whatever. Look, you and Molly Mall, y'all cook up or whatever. It's a dope record." Because at the end of the day, bro, like, if you have a voice like a Snoop or L and you're a superstar like that, and you get some monster writers who send you a record that's dope, and they like, yo, you do this record? You gonna turn it down? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why not? Shit. Especially in those days, because there was no real problem with somebody writing something. That's more recent stuff, really.
Right.
It is, man. Like I said, L wrote MC Light's part on Self-Destruction. Nobody had a problem with it. And MC Light's one of the greatest too. Mad Max.
I love that verse.
Yeah, it's a great verse. Mad Max with the super chat said, LL is known as a legend in NYC. It's just that he's from the 80s. So Regency bias comes to play. And NY just super gritty and witty. LL is not witty or grimy. I was going to say, man, like, even though he's from the 80s, though, I feel like Kool G Rap, Kane, and Rakim still get that love, though.
That kind of love, yes.
Yeah. And LL should be getting that kind of level of love, too. KRS as well. I didn't mean to leave him out. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, me against the world or Mama Said Knock You Out. That's me against the world, I think.
Okay, so how much better do you think that, like, a prime Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were than their contemporaries, even though they're the ones remembered for the era? Like, like Moses Malone won a couple MVPs and rings right in the middle of them doing that. Dr. J was still like Dr. J, at least for like the first half of their careers. You know what I'm saying? Same
George
thing with
Gervin
Kareem.
Was pretty good.
Kareem and Dr. J were still Kareem and Dr. J till about 1985, Mike.
Yeah, you're right.
Bird and Magic came out in 79, 80. So it's like,
I think that
like people. How about this? People forget like Michael Jordan's 60-something point game, Mike.
They lost.
That's the year Bird won his third straight MVP too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You feel me?
I think
that's why he was like, no. That's why Bird was like, that's the guy. He's like, because I just won MVP and I can't do that shit.
Right. I think that the fact that Bird and Magic were the captains. I think Kareem was the captain, but the faces of these superpower teams were kind to them in history, and the winning that they did. I think at the time people probably knew that, look, George Gervin is George Gervin. People knew Kareem was Kareem, Moses Malone. I'm sure everybody had their individual favorite players, but when we look back at it in history, based on the winning and based on who was the face of said teams, we remember Bird and Magic. But yeah, I don't think they were that much better than their contemporaries like that. Right. No.
It wasn't like supreme. No. Like it wasn't like
what Jordan did in the 90s. Right. Mad Max of the super chat says, but LL don't need to be witty or grimy because he had the delivery, the tone switch, and was smooth with player line quotables. LL's great, but did Rakim and KRS coming in just change up the flow a little bit and make the the standard of lyricism slightly higher because New York City, and we gotta admit this, New York is known for lyricism, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's what they.
That's what they hold their
I mean,
hat on.
right. It's kind of like
New York doesn't hold their hat on delivery and flow and those things. And I think that when you think of lyrics, you think of Rakim, KRS, Kane as a lyricist. Some of the things that Slick Rick did lyrically. When you think of L, you think of the hit records, the bangers, superstardom. And what would you say is bar for bar your favorite LL Cool J verse?
If I'm picking a verse,
most lyrical verse. And whenever you get that answer, stack that up with some of New York's great lyricists. And I think that's probably what it is.
Speaking, Mike, it might be the 4-3-2-1 verse. Or the I Shot Your Remix verse, or Ill Bomb. Those are the first three that I thought of. I Shot Your Remix, 4-3-2-1, and Ill Bomb.
Well, I want to ask the people in the chat, and shoot, like I said, LL's working on the album right now. Maybe his most lyrical performance is coming up. Davis with the super chat says, Big Daddy Kane's name is ringing. I'm sorry. Big Daddy Kane's name is ringing bells, and all of a sudden, LL becomes Uncle L. Coincidence? Man, Kaya David really hates me, man, because Kaya David is always talking shit in the chat, but never super chats.
No, we always do that. Kaya been threatening to slapbox me anytime I come up in the Queens next time. Yeah, we slapbox the next time I come to Queens and all that.
John Phillips with the super chat says, John Doe Productions. Kane wrote Round the Way Girl and Strictly Business. Do you have inside information, John, or are you just?
Do you have something to offer us?
I want to know, man. I mean, like I said, I have nothing against it. I think it's a very dope thing that is being done. If that's what it was, because it allowed Kane to grow his legacy, L continue to grow his legacy, and both guys were eating, man. I ain't got no problem with that. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, since we're talking about LL's greatness, Coop, you have Radio at number 62 on your albums list. Is that his best album, and do you think it can move up?
That's a deep dive type of question. But what I would tell you is that I probably still wouldn't put it. It's hard to say that one of hip hop's groundbreaking albums is in the top 50 album, like it really is.
Straight up.
But there's so many albums to me that sound better than it. It's like, let's say, okay, so how about this? What I tell you is like, I think moving it up. Do you think, Mike, it's a top 40 album? Because I don't.
It's hard to say that it is. I think that Bigger and Deffer is probably his best argument for that. Radio kind of scratched the surface, and I would imagine that LL and Rick Rubin themselves would tell you that Bigger and Deffer is the better album between the two. I'm pretty sure that when they made Bigger and Deffer, they felt like they elevated. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, Radio's groundbreaking, but, Run DMC had stuff around that time too. Before that, rather. Houdini did too, so it wasn't like it was the first rap album. But it's very, very important. I think that I'm Bad is probably, I don't know. It's between I'm Bad and Rock the Bells, his most important records. But I would lean towards I'm Bad because we got visuals for that. You know what I'm saying? And we got a whole image. We got the Kango hat. We got all of that from that. And a lot of our visuals for Rock the Bells are really us imagining Bad.
See, so that's the intangible that I'm talking about, Mike. So let's go to that. Because there were visuals to Bad, when my cousins, were in Mark and Mario, like Vici and 6, they were 8 and 4 years older. So Vici's in high school. 6 is in middle school. I'm in elementary school. They're leaving the house before me to get on the bus. So when they're leaving the house, I put LL Cool J's Bad in, and you want to know what I do, Mike?
What's that?
I practiced the start of the video.
Most
When
people did.
he jumps off. That's how I'm jumping off the bed, and I'm messing with Mark's Kangol, and I'm practicing the video because I got the visual aid. Intangible.
No rapper could rap.
I almost missed the bus one time because I got wrapped up in practicing the dance. The part where he does forget Oreos, eat Cool J cookies, I couldn't get it right.
I thought you were talking about when he was like, go LL and do the WAP.
No, I knew how to do the WAP. It was the Cool J cookies part, Mike. I kept on messing up, and I ended up running to have to catch the bus because I was too busy trying to crush the Cool J cookies, Mike. Visual aid.
No, it's just necessary, man. And I think that is groundbreaking in itself. I mean, people still dress up as LL Cool J with the Kango and all of that for Halloween because of that visual aid. Yeah. Mad Max with the super chat says,
it's actually our Thriller costume, Mike. You know that, right? Uncle LL's like 80s, like jumpsuit with the Kangol and the gold rope. That's our Thriller outfit.
Right. His impact is crazy, man. I want to see a LL Cool J biopic. I think he really, really needs it. Mad Max with the super chat says, my favorite project from LL is Mr. Smith and the Go album. This is Us, Fire, LL, that or Ill Bomb. It's his best mic performance. Oh, he says home. This is Us, Fire. This is on fire. Yeah, LL, that or Ill Bomb is his best mic performance, or Back Where I Belong. I was just rapping Where I Belong. Like I said, the breakthrough, I don't know if Mad Max, I know Mad Max is really a big LL fan, but I don't know if he's really into the 80s LL stuff. But listen to the breakthrough where he's going like 90-something bars, man. He really went in on there. And then gave MC Shan some bars, too. CJ Kid with the super chat says, general consensus feels either Mama Said Knock You Out or Radio. Is radio better beginning to end, though? I don't think so. I mean, should we put a poll up? Like, what's LL's best album or something?
I think that's necessary. Bad, Radio, Bigger and Deffer, Mr. Smith, Mama Said Knock You Out. You got to do all 5.
How many options are they going to allow me to do?
Might have to do 2 rounds, Mike. He's made a lot of albums.
He has made a lot of albums.
A lot of albums. Might have to do 80s albums versus 90 albums. Do
you think Mr. Smith or Mama Said Knock You Out should be in the conversation first? Because, all right, this is what we got. We got 4 options. I could put Radio, Bigger and Deffer, Mama Said Knock You Out, and Mr. Smith. You got another one in there?
I mean, isn't it crazy that Walking Like a Panther has Jingling Baby on it and Going Back to Cali?
Yeah.
Shit's so whack outside of that, though.
But he got bangers on there.
The bullshit. Isn't that I'm That Type of Guy bullshit on there?
Yep. I like that song, actually.
What the? Mike, even young me didn't like the happy shit. I was like, what kind of?
I didn't really like the OEO part, but you know.
The OEO, it went too far. I was like, who is this nigga? Aaron Hall?
I'm That Type of Guy. He's spitting some game on there.
Where he was like, remember the video where he was like some sort of cat burglar or something? I was like, what kind of delicate? I was like, ugh. This is young Coop. I was always this way. I was like, that's so.
But see, LL took those kind of chances so that somebody like
no chance. It's just whack.
No, but I'm saying he took those superstar chances and crossover chances so somebody like a Biggie could come through and do what he did. And I say what I say about Luda's impact on the city, but I think a lot of the things that Luda did that made him national and crossover were necessary for Atlanta artists that came after him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if T.I. becomes the national star that he became without Luda coming to break down that barrier. I could say similar things about Wayne, too. Like, there wasn't really a solo rapper from the South at that time that was crossover until Luda did it.
Solo?
Yep.
I think 8 Ball started to get some of that, maybe. That
8 Ball was getting a lot of love in the late 90s. You're right, but it never really crossed over. They were still like ours. You know what I mean? He was getting a lot of love, though.
That's fair, but he was getting a lot of love. Yeah, 8 Ball was getting a lot of love.
Yeah, he was getting a lot of feature game.
Hold on, Mike. No. Face, Mike. Face.
I mean, Face was known, but he wasn't platinum selling artist like Luda was. Like Luda was moving units, man.
That's fair. How about this? When you're saying moving units, you're talking like, well, for about a 3-album run, did Luda move like 2-3 million units every time?
Yeah,
like
Luda was going double, triple platinum and having these big
right,
songs.
Right,
Yeah.
But Mike, from about like 1989 till about 2005, like everything Brad Jordan touched went gold or platinum, though. So it's like
he was consistent in a Redman type of way. You know what I'm saying? Like
more consistent than Redman, Mike. He was consistently going gold or platinum. Like he got a lot of gold and platinum plaques, if I'm not mistaken, Mike. Like from early on. And that's what I mean.
But yeah, and he's in Texas too. Texas can make you go platinum just in Texas alone.
Well, we're going to talk about that when we talk about some of our album reviews.
Wow, I'm interested in these percentages here. We got 30 votes, not a whole bunch of votes, but 10% for radio. 10% for radio. Bigger and Deffer got 19%. Mr. Smith 32%, and Mama Said Knock You Out's at 39%. So right now, people are saying Mama Said Knock You Out's his best album.
It's got Round the Way Girl and Mama Said Knock You Out on it.
Mad Max in the super chat says, Mike, I'm gonna keep it funky. If an old head brags about Rakim, Kane, KRS, G-Rap, it's because they want to be fake tough. If they was around girls, they played LL. You think that's what it is? People being fake tough? CJ Kid with the super chat says, you guys have Daytona at 61. Put radio versus Daytona through an album rubric, because I think that's an interesting take.
What's he talking
about? Putting Daytona up against radio. Because on the list, I think that was done a while back, you have Daytona one spot ahead of radio.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, though, Mike. Mr. Scarface is back. 1991, gold. The World Is Yours. 1993, gold. The Diary, platinum. The Untouchable, platinum. Mike, My Homies, platinum. Last of the Dying Breed, gold. Hold on.
Okay. I'm about to pull up Luda's real quick. About to pull up Ludacris's joint, because Luda was moving units. I could be wrong. Let me go back in time real quick. So
I'm trying to find out what the fix and made and all that other stuff. So
okay, so back for the first time, triple platinum. Word of mouth, triple platinum. Actually, that's 3.6 if we want to be technical. Chicken and Beer.
No, we can give this 0.6. That's 600,000.
Yeah. 2.6 million. That's Chicken and Beer. Red Light District, 2 million.
Okay.
Release Therapy, that's 1.3.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, we didn't have anybody out the South that was doing it like that until
No,
Luda.
that's fair, Mike. No. That's
and I
fair.
think that he kind of paved the way for Jeezy and Wayne to kind of break through outside of the South as a solo, star. And, I want to give him that credit, because I think the same thing with L. It's like L doesn't get that credit because the guys that came after him kind of did everything, but they wouldn't have been able to have that platform to do some of those things because he broke the mold, And he had to do certain things that they didn't have to do to break that mold. Same thing with Luda. Luda went out there with the big arms and stuff, nah.
But here's the thing about it, though. And this is because even Luda has been coming out lately and talking about, because of how he kind of characterized himself, that it hurt the longevity of his career, because guess what? Well, Mike, Rakim is so influential in so many ways, because here it goes. I take this more serious than just a poem.
Yeah, and same thing with Scarface.
And that's how the craft is looked upon, Mike.
Yeah.
It's looked upon, in order to be upper echelon and to have that, like, real staying power, you have to take it more serious than just a poem.
You're right.
That's why T.I. has ended up being the guy down here as a solo artist, even though Luda's the one that still to this day, like, T.I.'s run of sales ain't like that, Mike. I know it's not. You don't even got to pull it up for it.
But it don't even matter. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because you got, how do I say it? Sometimes, and I'm not saying that anybody's trendy or whatever, but sometimes to sell that amount of records in a certain time period, you have to kind of do some things that would sell records and maybe not do some things that will, like you said, last the test of time. Because some of the things that Scarface was doing, they were hitting those people that it connected with, and maybe some people who would connect with it generations later. But it wasn't the stuff that was going to sell 3 million, and that's okay, because that's why it's hard to even harp on the numbers like that all the time. Because if you do that, Vanilla Ice is the GOAT, right? Or, I don't want to bring up that other name because the show would go off course. Mad Max with the super chat says, dudes in NYC rather mean mug and lean against a wall than appear weak. That's really where the LL neglect comes. Mace, Drake, they get it too. That's a decent point, especially when you bring up Mace and Drake. Mace had a blueprint of how to sell records, and he did it out the gate.
It worked.
And people hated on him for it. I seen
Ludacris is the first person from down here that I heard talk about the formula to make a hit record. So that's part of the reason why it worked too. Is I think he might have been the first person to truly come up with the formula. Mike, think about it. Our coming out party. Like think about the Southern songs that are the come out songs. Like in terms of our come out. Like listen to what the songs are, Mike. Mind playing tricks on me. Space age pimping. Players ball.
Yeah.
Who run it?
They made music for the region.
Right.
He's thinking outside of that. I mean,
because Luda was the first one that did think about, well, I want to get this played outside of these 7 to 8 states.
Exactly. What's Your Fantasy is something that could get played anywhere. That's not a Southern record. You know what I mean?
And it did.
And for the people who don't remember or who wasn't here for it, you remember when the Realest Niggas Down South compilation came out, that Rap A Lot compilation? Ludacris and Fate, and I think Our 20's on there too. They had that song Catch Up that ended up on both Incognito and Back for the First Time. That was them making something for the South. You know what I'm saying? So he could do it. He was just like, no, I got to think a little bit bigger. No disrespect to anybody who does it. We got enough people out here making music for the South. Now we got somebody from the South that's able to make music that everybody can rock to. Now, when you do that, though, the South may rock with it slightly less, but that's okay. You still represent. You know what I'm saying?
Different ways to skin a cat. He just found a new way to skin the cat.
And he found something that was true to him, and it connected. Mad Max with the super chat says, Mama Said Knock You Out is my favorite LL song since I heard it on Kangaroo Jack, too. Like Milky Dreams, too. He said, I like Milky Dreams, too. Mike, LL, Rakim, and Kane, I have mad love for. Do you think it's ridiculous, though, Mad Max, for me to possibly think in some universe that Kane and LL may have collaborated in ways that we, aren't privy to? Because my antennas kind of went up, and I think I told Coop this in the previous episode when we were talking about this initially. I heard an interview with LL, and LL said that Kane is his favorite rapper. And I was like, that's weird. He done worked with Molly Mall all these years. Why ain't y'all made a song together? And I thought, maybe they have worked together and we just didn't know. But that's where all that comes from. And then now the news about Big feeling this way, about copying, and then the 3 cuts in your eyebrow thing.
You're saying the news, Mike, that's not confirmed. Stop saying that.
Well, the notion, rather. Allegedly.
Mike, can we get to another
Let's
topic?
get to another topic.
Let's review one of these 3 albums we're supposed to be reviewing today, maybe.
Let's do that. Let me get to the rest of these super chats. Raising Yoda with the super chat says, when LL album comes out, do a station head listening. We will. How about that? Are you with that?
I'm actually thinking, about doing a station head tonight. I was going to tell people what it is to see if I can get the playlist together for it in time.
Okay.
Yeah. Thinking about making
Tune in
on
too.
and I might pull up tonight, do a little hip hop station head
For
Friday
sure.
night. Yeah, we'll see.
I would love to do a station head when LL and Q-Tip dropped their album. Well, LL's album produced by Q-Tip. Mad Max with the super chat says maybe Kane told him how to say words to make it flow, but I think LL wrote the bars. It's okay either way. I'm not spreading fake news. This was sent to us. I'm putting notions out there. There is no fake news about the fact that LL said that Kane's his favorite rapper. He said that. I heard that with my own ears. But yeah, I mean, I have no problem with. I mean, I don't think anybody should have an issue with two great MCs collaborating. Why not? Anyway, on to the next subject. You want to start with Durk? Or you want to start with
where people want us to start? We got 3 albums. We got Kodak, we got Durk, we got Jay Worthy and Rock Marcy. Where do people want us to go? See, we didn't hit them with playoff talk. We hit them with a bunch of LL Biggie conjecture lecture.
That was fun though. I had fun.
Mike, I knew as soon as he said LL, I was like, yeah, we about to be here.
I mean, CJ brought it up. I wanted to speak on it, but CJ brought it up, and yeah.
Thanks, CJ.
Yeah, I think that was a great topic. Anyway, let's start with Durk. People saying the Rock Marciano. Let's start with the Rock.
Okay. You first, because hold on. Well, you want to know what? Let me dig off into my notes very quick.
Jay Worthy and Rock Marciano. They just dropped Nothing Bigger Than the Program. Had a lot of dope features on it. Absol, Cocaine, Corrupt, to name a few. And what did you think about the album?
I like it, but it poses a few questions. First of all, the record starts off Underground Legends. That's Bun B's best verse in a while, Mike. I don't remember the last time Bun had a verse like that where I was like, it made me think it was a verse of the year contender. I know it's been a light year, but Bun B's verse of the year contender. So that was the first thing. I'll tell you that I felt like because of the tone and the tempo, this album gets kind of a slow start. And it's not that the tempo picks up, it's just that the production goes from good to great, in my opinion. And because of that, and it kind of starts with the plug. The joint with Ab. That's where the wheels on this project really start spinning for me. Wake Up, it actually has a Rock Marcy verse on it. It's just one of those moments where it's like the pairing makes sense and it's a dope record. The guy, Bart Oatmeal, who's on here a couple times, Mike, he sounds like Guru.
I've heard him before. Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds like Guru. You know what I'm saying? It was like, Guru's voice is so unique. When you hear somebody who sounds like him, it startles you, Mike.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, hold on. You're like, what the? It's like, he got a Guru verse? It's like, hold on, that's not Guru. It's like,
right. And it sounds natural, too. It's like, not like he out here trying to sound like another.
No, he's not. It's just, it's how his vocal inflection and his tone go. Because the way he enunciates his words, it's like, you can tell it's still kind of Cali-ish, or he been around Cali niggas. You know what I'm saying? So still. This is, how is classic rock Marciano production? Simple Man might be the best song on the album and the song of the year contender with Corrupt.
Corrupt still sounds so good to me. Like I gauged that also when they did that Four Horsemen project a couple of years back. I'm like, man, Corrupt sounds great. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can hear obviously that he's not, Corrupt from Doggy Style or anything.
Yeah,
but
this is 95, Mike.
Yeah. But he sounds great, and the lyricism is there. It's like it's always there.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. Because of how strong Simple Man is, the Huddle just comes off as okay after Simple Man. but that might just be song placement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you. I like what I've heard, and I'm not gonna act like I heard the whole thing. I'm running around listening to a whole bunch of music today. I was listening to a lot of the singles too. I thought we were gonna speak to also, but I just wish they would get some of these tempos up, man. And I get the vibe, and you know what I'm saying, going for a vibe, but I don't want a lot of this great lyricism to go unheard because people are checking out because of the dragging tempos. You know what I'm saying? Especially in an era where everybody's attention span is like this because we got so many options.
I don't love the tempo of the album constantly, but here, let me go to my notes specifically that I took on why I understand what's happening.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been having technical difficulties on this side of the iPad and all my notes and my keyboard. I've been typing so much, Mike, because the keyboard's been having trouble like loading up for some reason.
Oh, okay. I thought you was in the chat for a minute.
No, I haven't been in the chat at all. I haven't even pulled up our show yet. I've been over here doing other work and stuff and getting ready. We got other stuff we got going on. Mike, this album made me realize that hip hop is 50 years old and that rap artists, like, listen what I'm about to say. Because of the streaming era, rap for the rap artist has digressed back to being a regional market in terms of the stylistic music that they're going to make.
Yeah, they're making music for their
Jay
audience.
Worthy and Rock making shit for their demo and only their demo.
Yep.
Because that's where their bread and their butter is. It don't make sense to make a project for the masses in the streaming era.
You're right.
Because the artists are really like, no, fuck the charts. I'm going to talk to the pimps and the players that's been rolling with me.
Yep.
And we going to get this bread and get this merch and get this weight.
You know who I feel like the catalyst for that, especially in this era? There's two people.
Tech Nine?
I would say, he's one of them too. But I was going to say Wiz and Currency. Yeah. They speak to their audience, and Currency specifically. It's like, nigga, you know what you're going to get from me. And they love it every time. Because
real talk, Mike,
they never really divert.
And this is what I mean about feeding the demo, Mike, and I'm not joking when I'm saying this. Is like, well, if you ain't never been around no real pimps or been around no real players, been around no real hoes or prostitutes before, some of this talk you might not understand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Hold on. Where is it at? Where did they say? Hold on, I'm going to my notes.
Larry June's another one, yeah.
Yeah, Larry June. He talks about Larry on this album, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, he talks in a manner where he talks about like having a chick in Vegas, like, hey, don't be making eye contact with these motherfuckers when you walking through. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pimp talk, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like not imaginary player talk. Like, no. That's how pimps really like talk to their hoes, Mike. Like, hey, make sure when we go in here, you keep your eyes down. I don't want none of these tricks out here looking at you sideways. We in Vegas. It's pimping really going on, Mike.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the pimping is very strong in Vegas.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, man, is somebody said Bart Oatmeal is Baron Davis. Bart Oatmeal is Baron Davis? Wait a minute. Gotta look that up.
Bart Oatmeal's Baron Davis?
That's what everything Callan said. What I was gonna say though, and we're gonna get to this when it comes to the Lil Durk album as well. I agree with you 100% about the fact that artists are making music for the people who rock with them, and they're not trying to make anything outside of that, take a lot of chances. So it seems, right? And it's smart in the streaming era. I get that. But when it comes down to talking about the all-time great albums, how does that make the current albums fair up against, some of the great albums that had to do everything? A Get Rich or Die Trying, the documentary, shit, even a Good Kid, Mad City. And I think that's why Kendrick really, really stands out in this era, because he makes albums. He's clearly the best album maker of his era. and now it seems like the album making process has gotten even more simplified and more narrow. So, yeah, what does that look like for hip hop moving forward when our projects are shorter, our chances that we're taking are a lot more narrow? You know what I mean?
I think part of what the attraction to Kendrick was, especially early on, Mike, was the fact that it was like he was a big risk taker early on.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess in a lot of ways he still is that big risk taker. It's just the risk. It's harder to understand from the scope of how the projects are being designed now. Like, you have to understand, doing something like Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe was a risk when he did it. You feel me?
I see somebody saying so. You're right. I want to see somebody saying something that I want to address. They're saying Illmatic didn't do everything. Well, that's why Ready to Die got all the praise, though. That's why the same publication that gave Illmatic 5 mics let Nas sit out there in the audience at the Source Awards and get no awards for it, including Album of the Year, which they gave to Ready to Die. So, yeah, when it comes down to being able to do everything, it did. First of all, I want to say this. Illmatic did a lot. I think the only thing that Illmatic was missing was the Juicy, or, you know what I'm saying, or whatever hit record was around at the time. That's the type of stuff that's going to, quote unquote, sell you records. But from a production standpoint, a versatility standpoint, Illmatic did a whole lot. We're not really seeing that with these albums. I think the ones from this era that I would compare to, not Illmatic, but you know what I mean, is the Alfredos and the Pray for Parises. Yeah, they stick in there and they do things for their market, but they do it on a very high level. So, yeah, that's the difference with that. Yeah, being able to do a lot with an album when we putting it up with some of the all-time greats is important. Because the ante got upped. And now it seems like we're kind of regressing in the album-making process. Jay Short's in the building. Shout out to Jay Short. He says, off topic, but happy belated heavenly birthday to Heavy D, one of the original trendsetters. Set the template for Bad Boy, Biggie, and Big Pun. And Puff Daddy as well. Actually, he walked Puffy in the room. Shout out to Heavy D, his family. Rest in peace to Heavy D. You about to say something, Coop?
I love Heavy D.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of those guys that made, like, it used to be okay to have Heavy D's in rap. Like, Heavy D's could rap and be successful and, like, have a place and still get guys like Kane and Cool G Rap and CL Smooth on a record with him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it used to be like that. Yeah, so shout out to, like, Heavy D. Whoever posted that must be Jamaican. You know, the Jamaicans be loving them some Heavy D.
Yeah, man. Heavy D did it all. And I think that he was the blueprint for, you know, what Puff did with Bad Boy and Biggie. I think that the fact that a big guy being able to work and being able to be marketable and, you know, appeal to the ladies, that definitely comes from Heavy D. I'm sure Puff saw that and was like, well, shit, we can make this guy fly too. You know what I'm saying? So big success, a lot of big success, and the way Puff was able to, you know, guide him in that direction. I'm sure a lot of that comes from Heavy D's inspiration. So Heavy D is super underrated. We don't talk about him enough. And the fact that he was able to make some dope hit records and be spitting the way he did, man, hip-hop legend. But yes, back to the album, though. What were some of your takeaways?
It's good overall, Mike, and I really enjoyed it. But like I said, it's just one of those things that made me realize that it's like, you want this to change, Mike? Because I thought of you, and I was like, Mike's not going to like this slow down tempo. This is the Cali in me. This is the, you know, this is me that knows some of the people that I know. It's like, oh no, I understand exactly who they serving. You know what I'm saying?
It wouldn't be so bad if we didn't hear it so much now. You know what I mean? Like, it's like everybody seems to be doing a lot of the same stuff, you know? But I get it, though.
What would you like to see an artist like Jay Worthy do, Mike? That's what I'm saying. The way the game is designed, is the game designed for somebody like a Jay Worthy to win?
Yeah.
The way that you may want him to win, or is this the way to win? That's what I'm saying. It's like my
Oh.
understanding is a little bit different now. It's like he's not looking to make that big project like that because it's like where the bread at in that? You know what I'm
No,
saying? These
you're
dudes
right.
get, you know.
But see, I think that's why I'm so big on the Jay Skis album. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Jay Skis kind of put down the blueprint of what can be possible. And not saying that everybody should make an album that sounds like his, but he did a lot of everything on there. And it's like, it's not like the tempos or the sound is just so similar to one another. He showed you the versatility of what all he can do and still was able to, you know, serve that Griselda market. I would say drum work market because drum work kind of has their own following even outside of the Griselda thing. You don't agree?
How about this? When you're saying isn't he like the author of that though, Mike? That's what I'm saying.
He is. Yes.
So that's what I mean. It's like that's what I mean when I'm like, well, that ain't just Jay Worthy feeding his base. This is Rock Morrissey feeding his base.
It's true.
That's what I mean. This isn't one guy feeding the base, Mike. This both guys feeding the base. That whole Griselda sound, that's Rock Morrissey shit originally. And
I love Rock Marciano.
Look, Jay Worthy is one of the people that have kind of fallen under that conglomerate. You know what I'm saying? That does work with Alchemist and Rock, and you know what I'm saying?
I guess, man, maybe I'm just...
The whole network they've designed, Mike.
And maybe it's not fair, and you're right, because they're doing what's smart for them business-wise. But me as a listener, I guess I want to hear somebody go out there and do something outside the box, man. I guess because we haven't really had many people do anything outside the box in a while, it just gets kind of mundane in that sense. And I'm not saying that we need another OutKast to come around that's going to go out there and take it that far, but damn, like, when I listen to records like Bombs Over Bad Dad that are 23 years old now, it's like them shit sound way more advanced than what we're getting right now, and it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? We're in 2023, and I listen to new music today, and it doesn't sound more advanced than music from 20 years ago.
You know, I think also too, Mike, we have to be mindful. We listen to more than the average because of what we do. So that's what I mean is some of my perspective is changing. It's like, well, am I kind of tired of listening to this style of music? A little bit.
Yeah.
But I listen to so much more of it because of what we do than the average. It's like, it's not just that we listen to all these projects, Mike. Listen to these projects multiple times usually.
I wonder if they felt that way in the Source back in the day when they had to, rate all of these albums. I wonder if they felt that same way listening to the boom bap era of the 90s. Like, man, I wish people would change some drums up, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? But you're right. I think maybe the fact that we listen to more music than the average person maybe has my palate like, okay, who's going to break the mold, But... once again, when you and I heard the Jay Skis album, because many of our followers were telling us, like, yo, you got to check out the Skis. You and I both were like, hey, this one's the truth. Same thing with the when we heard the Black Star album. It's like, yeah, this is one of them. Remember when we heard No Gold Teeth for the first time? It's possible, even with all the music we listen to.
No, you can be wild, Mike. See, this is what I'm saying too. When we feel wild like that, that's what I mean about really appreciating it, Mike.
Yeah.
Because for as much as I like the last Black Thought project, it's like, no, it makes me think about No Gold Teeth and Aquamarine, and it's like, man, that was extravagant.
Mm-hmm.
That was glorious what he just did.
There's levels to this, man. It really
you
is.
can still get excited. So is there a No Gold Teeth on this album? No, but I mean, this project is going to feed the Rock Marciano bass. It's going to feed the Jay Worthy bass. They're going to eat well off of it. It's a solid album. It's got some highlights, Mike. I mean, I just kind of highlighted them. You know what I'm saying? It's got a lot of dope stuff on there. The Plug, Wake Up, How, Players Only, Simple Man. No, it's got heat on it, and it's only 34 minutes long. The other two albums we're going to cover are succinctly longer, and I feel like both of those albums suffer from that. Again.
I think so, too. Mad Max of the Super Chat says, Did Dot take a risk on Good Kid, Mad City? Sounds like a '90s album. People love it because it sounds like a classic '90s album. Where do you
I
think
don't
that
think.
he took the chances at on Good Kid, Mad City?
I mean,
Because
we
I
don't say
do
that.
think that To Pimp a
Do we say that
Butterfly
about
is the
any of
chances.
Kanye's albums, Mike?
Hmm.
Do we say that about any of Kanye's albums stylistically, or do we call them like new and cutting edge? Because it's kind of like in the same vein of like the Kanye train of like it is kind of like new school and not '90s. I think I think people compare Good Kid, Mad City to '90s rap because it's an insightful and intricate the way a '90s rapper would describe stuff. But stylistically, no, Mike. That's what I'm saying. Like just the way he starts off the album, like with Master Splinter, Shireen's Daughter. '90s rap albums don't start off like that. You feel me? Like with a story like that to kick off the. No, that's different. Bitch, don't kill my vibe. Yeah, backseat freestyle. You think that's a normal '90s type of record? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't
no.
agree with the '90s sentiment, but I will say this: I do feel like To Pimp a Butterfly is him taking chances, and I think that in the moment, and I know we like to have a lot of revisionist history. In the moment, those chances didn't pay off for him well because a lot of people weren't really feeling The Pimp a Butterfly in the moment. And I remember that because I was a person that was very high on it, and I was trying to speak to people on it. People like, no, I like Good Kid, Mad City. I ain't really fucking with The Pimp a Butterfly, blah, blah, blah. Now, granted, the singles on To Pimp a Butterfly until he got to All Right, they were kind of light. I really didn't make no noise like that. And really, King Kunta didn't either. And All Right came, and a lot of protests and stuff really helped that song get the legs that it ended up getting. But to me, his chance was To Pimp a Butterfly. I feel like on Good Kid, Mad City, he was kind of doing a lot of the things that were going on in the game at the time, and it worked out because he did them very well. Poetic Justice is a dope record. You know what I'm saying? Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe is a dope record. Swimming Pools is him kind of doing the whole lean thing that was going on at the time, the drug rap and all that, but he put his spin on it, but it was still kind of going with what was going on. It was original to his story, but I think the real chance was him making To Pimp a Butterfly. And it didn't pay off in the moment, but I guess history was kind to it.
I'm gonna tell you what I told you, Mike. I listened to the album. I was super, super impressed by the album when I had heard it the first few times.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to a party, and it was it was a Kendrick crowd. It was a Kendrick-centric crowd. That's how I'll describe the crowd. Like,
right.
some hoteps floating around. And we got done listening to Pimp a Butterfly. I'm sitting next to my homegirl Shonda and her dude, who's now her husband, and they have kids together. And they were like, run it back, play it again. I was like, we playing it again? And they was like, yeah. I said, is it like that? And everybody in the room looked at me and was like, yeah, Coop, it's like that. And I was like, oh.
I wish I could have found those
and I was
people.
the music guy in the room, but I was around the art. Like, I might have been the music guy in the room, Mike, but I was around my artist crowd and my artsy crowd. You feel me? And
I
they were
wasn't
like, no,
around the
Coop, it's
artsy
like that.
crowd.
And I was like, oh, buddy.
You know what?
Like,
I wasn't around the artsy crowd in 2015. I was around the crowd that was, doing business, going out and all that, and niggas wasn't feeling it. And I was like, I guess I'm alone on this one, and I'll take that.
I was still with the growers and the showers and yeah.
Mike,
Mike, how about this, Mike? When you work late night in Atlanta, Mike, pimps, prostitutes, players, hoteps, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Artists, painters, you know what I mean? Like that's the crowd. So all of us is like in a room, and it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, when I really got discouraged is when
Mike. I mean, for real, Mike. The prostitutes was like, no, yeah, the fucking hoteps, yeah.
Oh, so the
like,
prostitutes liked it.
Yeah.
The prostitutes liked it. No, I wouldn't. What was their song?
Mike, not joking. Like the strippers and the hoes down here, Mike, they're some of the smartest girls in this city.
What was their go-to? Now, I do remember, I don't want to say this because it's going to sound like I'm correlating a person with a prostitute, but Ice Spice says she used to listen to Pimp a Butterfly back to back to back. So
See?
it was hitting people.
See?
But
These walls, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have to understand, dancers like melodies, Mike.
Yeah. What I was going to say, though, man, when I got discouraged is when Kendrick got on Big Boy's show and he asked him to rank his albums. This was around 2017. He had just released Damn. And he ranked them Good Kid, Mad City, Damn, To Pimp a Butterfly, and the Section 80. And I was like, well, damn. I was hoping that he was going to put To Pimp a Butterfly high. And I was like, well, shit, maybe it is just me that likes this album. So, but now I guess To Pimp a Butterfly is everybody's number one. Man, back to the super chat says, I think To Pimp a Butterfly is when he started taking risks. And he lost me then. That was the general consensus. Yes. Because what happened was with Good Kid, Mad City, he went out there and made an album to get a massive audience. And then he went out there and made an album that was more for us weirdos. And I'm included in that population. The music weirdos, that is. Andrew Green with the $20 super chat. Showing love says, Mello is the most complete scorer. He can do everything KD does, but Mello is quicker, first step, and is a heavier weight, and is a better post-up game by far. Bully ball and jab step series. KD is more efficient, though. Jordan is the all-time GOAT. I ain't mad at that assessment. Very good assessment.
There's some truth in there. Carmelo's a better post-up player. He's not better than anything else that KD other than that. He doesn't have a better handle. He's not better from three. He's not better from two. He's not better from the free throw line. He's not better in the clutch. I'm sorry.
In the clutch, Melo's my guy, man. I'm not mad at that.
Still not KD. And I feel you. But in the post, yes. If you want to give him the post, yes. But, Mike, even when we talk about that jab step, like, Mike, who you more afraid of if they got the ball 15 feet from the basket, KD or Carmelo? 15 feet from the basket, who you more afraid of?
Well, I mean, is it at the end of the game or just in the game general? Nah,
it's just the game
KD.
period, Mike.
It's KD.
Right.
Yeah.
That's Melo, Mike. That's Melo's sweet spot. That's what I'm saying. KD don't have a sweet spot. His sweet spot is like, the court.
When we look at, like you said, the all-time top 15 scorers, KD is the best shooter. Period. Who are we missing? Yeah.
KC, like of all the great scorers, yeah.
Of all the great scorers, he's the best shooter. Pure shooter.
Period.
Yeah. KC1 with the super chat says, no, Coop, 90s albums start with striving for perfection and knuckleheads. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like 90s rap albums usually start off with something to really snag your attention and amp you up. Shireen, Master Splinter's Daughter, Mike, that's like a bottom 3 or 4 song on there when you actually go back and listen to the project. It's just a warm-up. Rap albums start off in the 90s like Ambitions as a Rock, New York State of Mind, Bring the Ruckus.
Yeah, you got to start off strong. I mean, because we're talking about an era where you buy a CD, you rip the CD out of the package, you're going through the credits and all of that, and you putting the CD in the car. So the first song, that shit got to hit. Jay Short with the super chat says, I think the issue with these albums is depth, especially with the production. There's no chemistry between the artists and the beats. Well, when you say depth, though, I'm thinking about subject matter, too. And we're thinking about content, too. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about this Lil Durk album. But, yeah, I mean, what do you think to that notion, Coop? What Jay Short said. He said he think the issue is that these albums is depth, especially with the production. There's no chemistry between artists and the beats.
A lot of these projects do feel like that they're just pulling up these producers' databases and choosing from the beats that they like the night that they like them instead of creating a vibe. And there is something wrong with that. And I'll tell you what, and this is what I mean about the vibe. We'll look at the Hit Boy and Nas pairing. Go look at KD1. Mm-hmm. Then go look at KD2. And then Magic.
Yeah.
KD3. You see what happens when you actually... How does the Isley Brothers song go, Mike? I want to groove with you.
I would know where you were going with that. I was like,
That's the
which
song.
Osley Brother song he talking
Groove with
about?
you. Isn't that how it goes? I want to groove with you.
Right.
That's what's really not going on, Mike. Not grooving with the producers anymore. Like, because I'm going to tell you what now, like, rap is different now. It's like, no, like, people need to be kicking it again. Like, Illmatic got made because Large Professor took Nas around New York. They didn't send in a bunch of reels. Nas was really like in Pete Rock's basement, Mike.
You got to do those things.
You have to do those
That's
things.
where
You
the
want
energy
the project to be
comes.
like that. When Mike, when I was interviewing Hit was like, he'd be right here. As in, like, he said, like, yeah, he right there behind me. He'd be right there.
No, I mean, it's
He'd be
something
like,
to
Nas?
that.
Be like, right there? Yeah, he'd be right there. Where? Right there behind me in the studio.
No.
He about to, what do you say, Mike? He about to come.
Real collaborative efforts. People got to be in the same space on the same agenda.
Mike, when you hear Black Thought and Danger Mouse, don't it sound like they was in the studio?
Of course.
Don't it sound like they was in the studio, Mike? Does it sound like that was mailed in?
No, it
Does
doesn't.
it sound like they did that in a week?
No.
That's all I'm saying. So it's like, look at, does it sound like, Mike, does it sound like Freddie Gibbs made his album in 2 weeks?
No.
Weren't those our top 3 albums last year? KD3, So Separately, and Cheat Codes?
Yep.
Don't it sound like the artist sat down with the producers?
Yep.
Oh,
and
well,
they were really intentional about what they were putting down.
I think we might be on to
about.
something when the artists and the producers actually, you know.
And again, I'm giving these critiques because I want better music to come out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we already are having a shortage of music itself in 2023, but the shit that comes out, especially since we're not getting a lot of it, I'm expecting it to be dope, like super dope and great. Like, what great album? I think Jay Skees is hitting it out of the park. He's the runaway album of the year right now for me. And I think, you know, closely followed by Mumble Rap too, but we need more people to knock it out the park, man. Somebody in the chat says that Kendrick is on To Pimp a Butterfly fake drunk crying, excuse me. Well, that's the creativity, right? The fake drunk crying. That's the one song on To Pimp a Butterfly. I get it from an artistic standpoint, but I don't listen to that song. The You song, it's hard to listen to. Jay Short with the super chat says, I don't think you always have to take risks. You can stay in your lane. Just execute dope beats and rhymes. Redman and Face don't change, but they execute. Yeah, Redman and Scarface always made music for their audience. Redman was like the 90s model of what you're talking about now and what the guys are doing now. Redman always had an approach where he was like, I'm a gold artist, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to make sure I stay a gold artist by making sure I'm stay consistent with the people who fuck with me at the level that I'm making, you know what I mean? And nothing wrong with that, but he made sure that the level was continuously updated though.
He did.
Redman was like, yo, I mean, he never said this specifically, but my fans don't want to hear me make New York State of Mind, or you know what I'm saying, or One Love, or you know whatever.
But here's the thing about that. That kind of ended up hurting him a little bit too.
It did. I mean, when we talk about all-time placement and we talk about him in relation to his peers, if we're ranking him.
How about this? Because in 1999, Mike, wouldn't you say he was easy top 15?
1999.
Redman we talking about. Think about this. This is when Doc's The Name is coming out and Blackout is like already out. Or vice versa, or around that time.
I'll tell you this. It was very clear in our circle, and again, Method Man was my favorite rapper growing up. It was very clear that he was better than Method Man. He had the albums for it. And in 1999, shit, he was better than Ghostface. He was better than Ray. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had to be. He had the albums for it. Now, as far as the J's and the Nas's and the Pacs and Bigs and the Rakims and KRS.
He was better than Ray and Prodigy?
At the time, yes.
What year is this you're talking?
1999, yeah.
Oh, in 99 he's better? Okay.
Yeah, he has There's a Dark Side. He has Muddy Waters. He has What the Album.
Okay, no, Mike, 99, yeah. No, you're right. I was just thinking about P for a second, Mike. I mean, Murder Music and Hell on Earth and the Infamous had come out by then, Mike.
But he hadn't had a solo effort yet. And
Yeah, he
Redman
just
had those
right.
in
Keep it thorough
spades.
2000, right? Keep it thorough 2000,
Yep.
right?
Redman had all that in spades.
I mean, Quiet Storm is a so okay. I hear what you're saying though. Redman got a Muddy Waters.
Yeah, full albums with just me.
Right.
Killing
There's a
it.
dark side, Mike. You want to know what? That El Nino album by Def Squad, Mike, is one of the dopest albums nobody ever talks about.
You're right. Redman was
That
on
album is
fire. Yeah.
And you want to know what? I'm going to let the people know this. I've actually been doing a dig all year on Eric Sermon, Mike. I want to apologize. I was wrong. E Double's the man. He's got a bunch of stuff. He's super important. And his production style is understated. And that's why he goes understated when we're having these all-time discussions. Because when you actually think about it, though, Mike, he's done a lot of stuff that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
But he's also just done regular dope-ass projects like El Nino. Like, look, how about this? Here's how I thought about El Nino the other day. Alchemists do projects like this all the time, and this is why we try to put him in the top 10. It's like, no, Eric Sermon been doing that for a long time.
Yep. Not to mention all the EPMD stuff. Like, that was known for the production.
Too. I mean, the EPMD stuff and the Redman stuff is enough, but he's got other stuff, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Like, remember he Welcome with Aaron Hall?
Mm-hmm. No, Eric got a catalog.
Yeah, he got some stuff.
NR with the super chat says, what did y'all think about the bars Kendrick gave Drake on that Beyonce song? Wait a minute. How did that? Now, I'm going to have to go look this up real quick. Also, Melo was on KD's level, just didn't have the right team around him. I'm with you on all that.
I didn't say he wasn't on his level. Carmelo is a scorer. Like, how about this, Mike? We making a top 10 scorers list ever? Oh, yeah, he on that list. Like whether he's a top 10 scorer, like, points-wise or not, as far as people I've seen score the ball, no, he's right there with Mike and Kobe and Durant and LeBron and Kareem and Will. And who else we got? Carmelo needed John Stockton, Mike. I'm not going to put him on that list.
Man, Karl Malone is the man. Stop that. You can't do that. Oh, I'm looking up these lyrics that they're talking about.
You know what type of man he is? Google Karl Malone.
Well, I mean, that ain't got nothing to do with how he played on the court.
Seems like you're ready.
Nah, I can't take that away from his game, though. That's some other stuff. But yeah, I mean, Karl Malone was great. Hold on. Tour Billion watching. No, we're not gonna be sitting here singing R. Kelly on the A2HH Live, man. Man, Max in the super chat says the issue is
every time I talk about Karl Malone, it's just what I hear in the back of my head. I just can't help it, Mike.
Man, Max in the super chat says the issue is everyone playing a cartoon character, not themselves. Pac was a three-dimensional. Nas and Rakim, LL in his own way. Yeah, it was Nas, Rakim, and LL in his own way, etc. They could talk with range. We're used to range, you know what I mean? And so when you see a lot of music and hip hop without range, I mean, I would be remiss to not call it out. I mean, I got to be honest here. Mad Max also says, like, take J. Cole. He loves to follow my dream, finding myself talk, but he can speak on casual stuff like women, streets, etc. Guys don't do that no more. I do think that ultimately, you may disagree, when we look at the totality, I think Cole might be the most rounded MC of his generation.
He is, Mike, because, I mean, did you hear him on Durk's album?
I did. We'll talk about that, too.
Yeah, we're about to talk about that shortly. I mean, Mike, if I had to rate the Jay Worthy and Rock Marcy just like off first listen, a tentative 4, but would probably... But that's just about, like, they hit the mark, Mike. It's just like, it's not anything stellar. It's not like anything to, like, write home about, but it has some moments. It's, I don't know, because here's what I mean. It is like, it's a tentative 4 because it's like, I don't know in a stronger other year if I wouldn't 3.5 this immediately. But 3.5 is still a good project, like 3.5. And I think sometimes we get too wrapped up in stuff and how strong it is. Like, a 3.5 is a good rating. It's hard to make something.
It's cool. Yeah. You know, I gotta keep it all the way real, man. I heard a couple of days back that Kendrick was on this Beyonce remix, and I still haven't listened to the verse. I must admit. Did you ever listen to the verse?
No, I didn't either, but I think everybody knew I wasn't going to. I'm a little surprised that you might.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Kendrick fan. I mean, you're still a Kendrick fan, aren't you?
No, I'm messing with you. I listened to the verse, Mike. The verse was solid.
Okay.
He did a little. He actually did some back and forth dual voice, which I actually like. You know how I feel about the dual voice. Give me the loot. Stop being greedy. Mona Lisa. Big double voice guy. So he's doing the double voice. But Mike, and we need to start pointing this out. I'll never forget. Do you remember this, Mike? Like, how about this? Remember when Poverty's Paradise came out?
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't know you were gonna go there.
Remember Craziest and Feel Me Flow?
I remember. I love Craziest, man. I got memories.
I love Feel Me Flow.
I love both of them.
Tretch is still in his bag on those records.
Oh yeah.
But the problem with Poverty's Paradise is that he's not in that bag for the rest of the album.
I think that, in my opinion, Naughty by Nature got so focused on making that banger and making those singles that the albums may have suffered, but they accomplished making those summer anthems.
They did, but I think Tretch used his bag on that. And what I'm saying is that when I hear Kendrick now, I mean, Mike, when the last time he's been in his bag? Like let's scratch all the album talk, okay? Let's scratch all the all-time talk, Mike. What have you seen since his return that says this is a top 10 MC, other than the name and the notoriety?
Other than concepts.
Yeah.
Because he's known for his bar work and lyricism, right? I think a lot of the stuff that people are holding very high on Mr. Morale, and as I did when I first heard it, was the writing, right? And that's more so the concepts. The whole, domestic violence type of concept, boom. Father time concept, boom. Auntie's Diaries, that's concept. Same thing with My I Sober, that's more so concept. But you're talking about just straight up bar work that we know Kendrick for. Yeah, I don't know. What did he say about Drake in this verse? You want me to read it?
You can, but hold on. I just kind of want to get to something. This is what I'm...
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just reading Mike, this. I'm listening to you.
No, Mike. We still having this evidence conversation. Mike, when we talk about J. Cole, well, Mike, it seems to me that for the last about, 24 to 27 months, Mike, it appears that every time J. Cole steps to the mic, we can't find the mic anymore.
It's a moment.
Because the mic's been put in a body bag with a tag on it, Mike, that says DOA, time of death unconfirmed. We can't just, Mike, we can talk about the Johnny P's Caddy verse, but really we can just pick any old damn verse he done did lately. And be like, that's that dude. Mike, we can literally go to, you want to know and this is what I mean, what's funny, like, Mike, do you understand that Nas says more quotable fly shit than Kendrick does, and Kendrick's supposed to be in his prime? Let me give you an example, Mike. In the Range Rover, listening to bars from Takeover. Sometimes I text Hova like, nigga, this ain't over laughing. No, that shit that's gonna get people's attention. Mike, WTF, SMH. My jewelry is disgusting, but let's discuss the taste. I'm in another place. This whole shit is in shambles. Low vibrational level. Riders never get canceled. Is Kendrick even talking like that? You feel what I'm saying? Like where's the actual work at? I'm serious. Like, put the album to the side. If he's the best artist of this generation, show me the verse that says he still deserves that. Like Conway, Mike, Jesus Crisis, Lemon, Juvenile Hell. It's like, no, I can go give you verses.
You know the problem I have with this, and I'm not trying to be like this, and I know
where the bars at? Where the bar work at? Where
I know
the
Kendrick
bar seminar. The last bar seminar was Feel on Damn, Mike.
Yeah.
The last bar seminar was Feel on Damn. I'm gonna say this again, Mike. My daughter was in a USTA tennis academy when that shit was going on. I can't even get her ass to pick up a racket now. This shit crazy, Mike. Shit was so long ago.
Well, all right. I know the Kendrick fans are gonna kill me for this, but the problem that I have with this is the fact that your feature game is already, we've gone over the discrepancies there, but it takes a Beyonce feature for you to come outside and do a feature. Like, can't nobody else get a verse? Like, for me, when I hear that he's doing a feature on the Beyonce record, and maybe that's why I never really was even excited to listen to it. I'm like, well, shit, he ain't doing no more features because shit, where else can you go after that? That's like shit. I'm only giving Michael Jackson a verse. You know what I mean? Like, so it's for you to get a feature verse, it's got to be a Beyonce verse. Yeah. Mo Better Cup with the super chat says, I feel like Kendrick could have stayed in the Good Kid, Mad City production style. I before when went on to something else musically. Said I before went on to something else. I guess he went on to something else musically. Yeah. Mad Max in the super chat says, and Durk, the rebranding, not fooling the feds, bro. They gonna scoop you off the streets. His album was trash. Man, Mad Max is a tough one, man.
Mad Max is impossible. He's worse than me and you, Mike. You understand that? He's awful.
Mad Max got to get on here and critique an album with us. Jay Short with the super chat says, my opinion, a lot of rappers now are scared to offend their crossover fan base. They aren't getting to get too black in the lyrics unless it's negative. It's a very good observation. They got corporate sponsors. Michael Williams with the super chat says, what are Jay's top 5 most lyrical albums? Reasonable Doubt's number 1. Number 2, the Black Album, lyrically. After that, lyrically.
Maybe the Blueprint 2 or Volume 1. Actually, Mike,
I was thinking Volume 1 and then the Blueprint 2.
I'm about to say, I would tell you that lyrically speaking, Mike, Volume 1, very close to being in first place and would be my number 2 pick if we're talking lyrically. Like, lyrically, Volume 1's better than the Black Album, lyrically.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. It's either or. I think they're 2 and 3.
Not conceptually.
Yeah. I think they're 2 and 3. His flow is crazy on the Black Album, where the lyricism is crazy.
The flow, Mike, because verse-wise, he not.
No, you're right. 97 Hove is 97 Hove for a reason. I'm cool with flipping that. Whereas Volume 1, then the Black Album, then I would say the Blueprint 2, and then number 5, just off of perspective, I'm gonna go Blueprint. Because even though he's not like super lyrical miracle on there, he's saying shit you can feel on there. Like, what you eat don't make me shit.
He's saying important things on there.
Yeah. What you eat don't make me shit. Where's the love?
Like, you know what that is? The blueprint is, his blueprint is very much like KRS's blueprint in the sense that it's like, well, that ain't the best lyrical version of the guy, but the stuff that the guy's saying on the record.
It's holding a lot of weight.
Yes.
I do this for my culture, to let them know what a nigga look like when a nigga win a roast. Show them how to move in a room full of vultures. Industry shady, it need to be taken over. Record labels hate me, I'm raising the status quo up. I'm overcharging niggas for what they did to the Cold Crush. Pay us like you owe us for all the years that you hold us. We could talk when money talks, talk more bucks. Yeah, he's spitting game on the Blueprint. Mad Max in the super chat says, Dot raps like a performing arts, like performing arts. It's theatrical, not the type of rhymes that you're gonna remember. I can't.
But he's the best. All I'm saying is that, like, let's take the album stuff out of it. If he's the best MC of this era, go show me. Because it's like, if you have to go back to 20.
Well, he's only gonna do features with Beyonce. We're not getting him on anybody else's stuff.
Mike, that feel like that's that Illuminati, Mike. It's almost like he don't want to do features, but you're not allowed to say no to Beyonce when she tells you to do a feature.
Right. Like, I gotta do it.
No. Like, his whole team probably looked at him. He's like, I don't want to do it. They like, look here, nigga. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you how this thing works. When Beyonce calls, how high?
Mad Max with the super chat says, and Cole is the new Kane to me. He explains why Kane said that. It explains why Kane said that Cole is his favorite new generation rapper. I can see that. Okay, so in this verse, they're saying they're giving bars to Drake, and then we'll go on to the Durk thing. He said, what? Tour Billions watching, P-Lane caller, 911 slaughter. Look at my garage, synced up. Get the genie out of the bottle and point at any model. What? It said, go stink, fuck it up, go stink, fuck it up. His must be when he goes into his voice, right? Hey boo boo, too many complexities to learn me from Google. My mama told me that the money outgrew you. My horoscope said I'm really out of my noodle. I'm troubling. I'm puzzling. I'm Sudoku. Say B, yes, America's got a problem. Geeked up choosing love. Well, they choosing violence. Universal, please don't play possum. Oh, that's where he's going, huh? Okay, Universal, please don't play possum. I'm a businessman, doing as follows. Truly, I be lying in my rap songs, cause I always fail to mention I'd slap homie. Ho ho! His career didn't come with no life insurance. Hope his day one fans got some facts on him. I'm an honorary beehive. Let's see why them diamonds don't be fly. Okay. I think that's all of the Drake. So let me get here. Let me go back here. Geeked up choosing love. Well, they choosing violence. Universal. Please don't play possum. I'm a businessman doing as follows. Truthfully, I be lying in my rap song. Cause I always fail to mention I'd slap homie. His career didn't come with no life insurance. Hope his day one fans got some facts on. Man, y'all stop the subliminals, guys, and just get it on, man. Pause.
Mike, Errol Spence and Bud Crawford are getting it on finally. I mean, what are we doing here?
Come on, man. Yeah, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, look, Drake wants it, and obviously Kendrick seems to want it. They're gonna battle for who's second place in their generation.
Oh, Mike. So hold on, Mike. Mr. Smith is winning now.
Mr. Smith is up. There we go. Mad Max to the super chat says, "Get the genie out of the bottle. That's supposed to be good." Mad Max wants to hear them bars, man.
Mad Max wants to smoke. See that, but Mad Max isn't wrong about that. That's what I'm saying. Is it's like, no, if he's that dude, how about this? It's like, so people are like, okay, Coop, stop giving him such a hard time about the album. He's allowed to make missteps. Our favorite rappers have made missteps. It's like, okay, granted, Mike, have you heard the shit that Nas was making around Nostradamus? Mm-hmm. Have you heard the shit Jay was making around Kingdom Come? Mm-hmm. Do you hear some of the stuff on there? There's still evidence on their weaker projects that they might be the greatest person who ever touched the mic.
Yeah, no, for real. I mean, because even around Kingdom Come, Go Crazy is around that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dear Summer's around that time.
Mike, Last Words is on Nostradamus. Mm-hmm. He literally described himself as a metaphor, as a prison cell.
Well, I want to ask the people, what is Kendrick's best bar work on Mr. Morale or around that time period? Because maybe we're missing something.
My auntie is a man now.
My auntie is a man now. You know, I honestly think the last verse on Auntie's Diaries is probably the strongest verse on the album, in my opinion.
But and this is where we started having.
But again, that's more concept than lyrics. You know what I mean?
But we're going to go back to this again, Mike. But this is what I mean. You can't just throw the punch. The punch has to connect, and it has to hit us in the chest, Mike. Watch this. This is how that verse isn't great, because great verses go like this, Mike. I got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous. You heard of us. Official Queensbridge murderers. Mike, great verses start off like this, Mike. Visualizing the realism of life and actuality. Fuck who's the baddest. Your personal status depends on salary. Mike, you want me to keep going?
And she came with the same type game, the type of girl giving out the fake cell phone to name. Big thing.
Big thing.
She like cats with big names. Full clip, money clips was on the 6 range. Seen her on the ass, spotted her more than once. Ass so fat that you could see it from the front. She spot me like paparazzi. Shot me in a glance and a Catwoman stance with the fat booty pant. Yeah, I mean, he can pull that off, right?
Well, it was one of those days, not much to do. I was hanging downtown with my old school crew. I went into the store to buy a slice of pizza. I bumped into a girl. Her name was Mona. What?
Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa, so men named you.
Yo, how does Heat for 50 Cent start off? How does that song start off, man? Because 50's good for coming in a
Yeah.
record.
Is that the one where he goes, Peter Pepper rock peppers?
But I
Peter
rock,
Pepper
no.
But that's not that. That's
Yeah.
if I can't. You're
That's
talking
if I
about
can't. He is with things out.
oh,
I
that
do
one.
what I
Oh,
gotta do. I don't care if I get caught. DA gonna
right.
play this motherfucking tape and call. I'll kill you. I ain't playing.
You
Like,
saying, Mike?
keep thinking I'm candy until your
Mike,
fucking
you know what our
brains
greatest-
go out.
Mike, I'm just saying, our greatest verses, like when the verse is great, it's like we usually know the words. I bomb atomically.
Yeah.
Socrates' philosophies and high prophecies can't define how I be dropping these mockeries. Lyrically performed on. Don't we? Don't.
Well, I
Mike,
was just gonna switch it up with somebody who ain't really known to be a quote unquote lyricist on just an album record like Heat, where it's like, keep thinking I'm candy till your fucking brains fall out and your ain't pop out the box like Jack in the Box. Yeah. Jay Short with the super chat says, not trying to stir up the pot, but outside of album making, when did the lyrical separation between Kendrick and Lupe happen? What song?
no, but these are the questions we're asking right now. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, we're asking these questions, like literally right now. Hey, Mike, guess what? Motherfuckers can't rhyme no more. Crime no more. Cause I'm so raw. My flows expose holes that they find in yours. Wasn't for me, niggas still be dying for whores. But I hate when a nigga sit back admiring yours. Young blood, you better get that.
I mean, we could even rewind to the beginning where
Niggas
it's like,
don't be confined to riding the iron horse, and don't be listening to these rappers, yo. They dying to floss.
this nigga's nice, man.
Nigga, stupid nice, Mike. We know all Mike. For as much as we call him the second greatest Mike, we know all his shit backward and forward. It's like, man, he got so much. We picked Mike. I just picked the second verse, Mike. I didn't even do the million and one verse. We can do rhyme no more, and niggas know the words to rhyme no more.
Rhymes I made. How did it start? How the first verse
start? A lot of speculation about the monies I've made, honeys I've slayed. How is he for real? Is that nigga really paid? Hustlers I've met or dealt with direct. Is it true he stayed in beef and slept with a tech? What's the position you hold? Can you really match a triple platinum artist buck by buck with only a single going gold?
Rockefeller shit fold. Nigga left out in the cold. Is it back to charging motherfuckers
11 for a hoe?
Jeez. For the millionth time asking me questions like Wendy
Williams harassing me.
And get upset when I catch
He was the first one that I ever watched floss subtly, and it was on that song when he was like, "Can I get a minute to breathe?"
And then that minute you leave?
While I'm looking at my roll ice spinning on my sleeve.
Yo, conversational Jay is crazy, man.
Look, he said,
nice
watch.
You really got a spot, like you said, for the phone? If so, what block? What you doing in LA with Filipinos and essays?
Latinos and Chevys. Now the people with Frederico. I answer all y'all questions, but then y'all got to go.
Yeah, the question I ask you is how bad you want to know. Blah.
Yeah.
Or we could go imaginary players, too.
We can go everywhere, but that's what I'm saying. But where's Kendrick got it like that? That's what I'm saying, Mike.
To be above everybody. I mean, they had him number 2 all time, man. Like, that's a lot of people who've done this rap thing. Mad Max with the super chat says...
in the room staring at candles.
Him too. Mad Max with the super chat says, and Dot would never slap Drake. He don't know Drake part of the ish mob. I got Drake in that battle with Dot Easy. Well, if that did happen though, do you got Drake or Kendrick in that battle?
Actual rap battle, or they like squabbing?
Actual rap battle.
Oh, I'm taking Drake. I'm taking Drake because of the things that the discourse of this, because of the discourse of this conversation right now, is why I'm telling you I'm taking Drake. Because if y'all are telling me the other guy is the supreme MC and like lyricist and like bar wonderkind, and it's like, okay, show me the verses.
Oh, they said I missed the bar where he says, "Get it off your chest like breast reduction." Oh,
very problematic.
Yeah, man, these guys need to get it on at this point.
Into this, huh?
Listen, man, I'm sorry. I'm feeding into this peaceful battle, man. Like, you know, I think this is more of a battle of...
Let's back up. If people are rating Kendrick like he should be the prohibitive favorite in this, show me the verses that tell you why. And then
No,
let's put a
show me the
time date.
battle.
Forget all that. We know that there's no battle. That's why I'm like, well, show me the verses, because it's like, if you have to start going back to 2015, 2016,
You lost.
You lost.
Yeah, it's like 10 years ago, man.
2023. Damn, we halfway into 2023. When did Damn come out, Mike? Is that 2017?
Yeah.
Mike, we're going back 6 years. If you got to go back to 6 years for some bars, no, fam.
How about this?
Mm-mm.
Drake's more than likely going to respond to this. And if he hadn't heard this song, then, or this verse, somebody go tell Drake to respond to this, because he will. He raps all the time, right? So let's just say Drake hypothetically responds, which I'm pretty sure he will. So what is Kendrick going to respond on? He's not putting out any songs. He's not going to get on another feature. He just featured on the Beyonce record. Where else is there to go? He's not going to put out nothing for the streets like that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no new album coming. So what? He gonna respond through Baby Keem?
Mike, so I guess you know the story, the rap side, crack side, how I smoke funk, smack bitches on the backside. Bed-Stuy, place where my head rests. Biggie shot clip if a nigga won't test. The rocket launcher, Biggie stomped ya. High as a motherfucking helicopter. That's why I pack a Nina. Fuck a misdemeanor.
Niggas have been doing some rapping, man. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, top 5 best verse starters off the top. I came in the door. Said it before. Never let the
I was a
fiend
fiend before I became a teen.
I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic smoke. I used to let the mic smoke. Now slam it on the ground and make sure it's broke.
Mike, Uncle L, future of the funk.
Well, I was gonna go thinking of a master plan. Cause ain't nothing but sweat inside my hands, so I dig into my pocket. All my money gets spent, and I dig deep.
He got all of them.
He got all of them. He got all the top 5.
I got enough to go around, and the thought takes place.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I grew up on the sidewalk where I learned street talk, and then talk to all New York. I go to Queens to get the crew from Brooklyn. Made money in Manhattan, and never been took.
And go uptown to the Bronx and boogie down.
Strong on the island, recouped and lay around. That nigga's
time
crazy.
To build my juice back up. Suckers smack up. Suckers back up. Suckers getting smacked up. No doubt the clout. They know what I'm about. Knocking niggas off. Knocking niggas out. Shaking them up. Breaking them up. Breaking them up.
Waking them up. Standing on shaky grounds, too close to the edge. Let's see if I know the ledge.
Yeah.
What was
Saga begins. My eyes are photography lens. Properly push gems and show quality gems. The horrors be grim. So maybe tomorrow we win. If we follow the trends and keep count of the dollars we spend.
Don't sweat the technique, man.
I'm just saying, where's the Kendrick verses at like that? Where they at?
They got Kendrick ahead of Rakim Allah, man. Come on.
I just want to know where the verses at, Mike.
You know, I know y'all think that we going in on Kendrick, but when you have publications that will put Kendrick Lamar over Rakim every single time, you're gonna have to prove this, man. You're gonna have to. AB Studios with the super chat says, Kendrick cannot say smoking on your top 5 when he never battled anyone. Drake wants to smoke. He's ducked. Stop the subliminals. Get to the ish. I'm not impressed. I agree. I am not impressed. Stop the subliminals. Subliminals over on both sides. I'm not even going to take sides here. Drake, you need to say this nigga's name. Kendrick, you need to say this nigga's name. And y'all need to make a full record on it, man. But we know we ain't gonna get no Kendrick record. At least Drake, you do it. Please, Drake. You're the one that raps all the time.
Money steady flowing. Everything is fine. Got myself a Uzi and my brother a 9.
So what, you think Kendrick wants to with KRS in a battle or something?
Business is booming and everything is cool. I pull about a G a week. Fuck school.
Mad Max to the super chat says, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Whoo! Repping my peers, putting suckers fear. All right, if we talking start-offs, and Deck's verse is always a crazy start. Yeah, Deck killed that, man. See, go ahead.
Breaks it down to the bone gristle.
Ooh. That is the greatest start-off ever, to me personally.
I'm saying is it's like, no, stop.
Jeez.
Like, all I'm saying is to show me where is he at in these conversations when he doesn't have an album to speak of. Since we want to stop talking about the album, let's talk Okay.
I was
Let's
already
talk
a
about the
Wu-Tang
verse. Where the
fan.
verse is at?
I was already a Wu-Tang fan, but when Shadowboxing came out and they came with the video and they were playing it like on late night radio, and I heard this nigga Method Man come in there like that, them niggas had my mind, man. It's like
They
it was
performed
over.
that on Teen Summit, Mike. They performed that on Teen Summit.
I
Shadowboxing
remember
got performed
that.
on
I
Teen
remember
Summit.
that. I was like, yo, this whatever this nigga Method Man's doing, I want to be down with that shit, man.
Streets was different, Mike. Method Man got all those verses like that too, Mike.
Yeah, man. That's why it's so crazy for me to even see him on Power. It's like, yo, that's Method Man. Like, I break it down to the bone gristle. Those peaking submissile heat seeking. Johnny Blaze. Nightmares like Wes Craven.
Like my head naughty and my nose piece snotty. Right, he got verses out the ass.
I mean, even that second verse on Shadowboxing, my mind started clicking. Shit.
Master the plot thicken. This be that woo shit. I don't give a cotton picking.
Fuck about a nigga trying to serve a nigga up. I hold my own. Hard hat protect the dome. Look at my baby boy acting like he grown.
Kendrick verses like this.
No time for sleep. I gets deep as a baritone. Killer bee that be holding down a honeycomb. Lounging, son. Woo, brother number one. Protect your neck.
You say lounging, son? Didn't you say lounging, son? That's the part Kendrick relate to. Lounging, son. He lounged for 5 years.
Woo, brother number one. Protect your neck. Flying guillotines. Here they come. Bloody bastards. Hard times and killer tactics. Yo, man, this nigga was crazy. CJ Kid with the super chat says, I would love if you guys did a deep dive on the best verse starters of all time one day. Like, objectively, what's the best verse starter?
So many battlefield scars while driven in plush cars. This life as a rap star.
It's nothing without God. That's up there. Michael Williams with the super chat says, like Jay said, it's like when niggas make subliminal records. If it ain't directed directly at me, I don't respect it. Drake and K-Dot need to go at it. Yeah. Because, see, this is why I say what I'm saying about the subliminals. And I think Biggie was a master at this. Jay, too. And it was creative. But it can get elongated, too. Like, this K-Dot and Drake thing, it's stretching out way longer than it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? At this point, they're just going to be doing subliminals until both of them are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get
I make you a mouthpiece so beast like Della Reese. When I release, you lose teeth like little C's.
Nigga, please.
Please, blood floods your dungarees. And that's just the half of my war path. Mike, was that some sort of video or some sort of single?
We all know it.
Don't we all know the verse?
First things first, I Papa freaks all the honeys, dummies, Playboy bunnies. Those want money. Those are the ones I like because they don't get Nathan but penetration. Unless it smells like sanitation garbage, I turn like doorknobs. Heartthrob never, black and ugly as ever. However, I stay coochie down to the socks. Rings and watch filled with rocks. And my jam knocks in the Mitsubishi. Girls pee-pee when they see me. Navajos creep me and they teepee. As I lay down laws like Alan Coppet. Stop it. If you think you're going to make a profit. Don't see my guns, see my ones, don't see my guns. Get it? I tell your friends, Papa hit it, then split it in two. As I flow, like I'm trying to stop where he's not snapping, but this nigga snapping the whole record. I'm watching you. I'm clocking you. Versace Sage watching you. In the grim, I'm in. Game begins. First, I talk about how I dress in this and diamond necklaces, stretch Lexuses. The sex is just immaculate from the back. I get. Yeah, I'll stop right there, man. This nigga was crazy.
No, Mike. This is what I mean about. That's what I mean about great. See, this is what I mean, Mike. No. Damn the hit single. See, people know the words of that, Mike, but we know the others. Today's agenda got the suitcase up in the Central.
Yeah.
Go to room 112. Tell them Blanco sent you. The deal exchanges. If no, the deal. Hold on. What do you say? The deal. Explain. Hold on.
The deal is throwing me off.
Yeah.
Mad Max to the super chat says, straight out of Compton, a crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
From the gang called Niggas with Attitude.
Man, shout out to Ice Cube. Always riding with Ice Cube, man. He's done so much. Don't ever forget that. Don't let any of these people make you forget that.
What's the next album we reviewing?
I say we go Lil Durk. LP with the super chat says, Jay definitely the king of subliminals, but even he knew when he had to put a name on it. He didn't drag Nas or P for 15 years. He said their names or be direct. Yeah, it's real. It's like the subliminals are the warm up, and then you got to get to it at some point, man. But yes, Lil Durk released his album today. Let me find the track list of this. Here we go. Almost Healed. What did you think about Durk's album?
It has some really good moments, and I have a lot to kind of like say. But I mean, it was kind of funny, Mike, when you jumped on the phone. I mean, you said you had a lot to say. You usually don't say that, and so when you do, I like to kind of let you set it off when you have a lot of thoughts about an album. So I actually kind of want you to set the Durk album off.
Well,
we'll piggyback on you.
Starts off with Alicia Keys basically in a therapy session with
I got a Mike D joke right here. I said A Keys intro. I was like, yeah, Mike D joke. Insert here. Go ahead.
She sounds really good. I mean, well, obviously she's not singing, but she's talking. She sounds very good. So yes, it sets it off where it's like a therapy session, and she's going through all of the things that Durk has gone through over the past couple of years, and I dig the theme and where they're going. The songs were cool. I think that we talked about this a couple episodes back. I want to say this might have been Monday, and we were talking about Get Up, Get Out from OutKast.
After school special-ish.
And how it could have went that way. A lot of this stuff, to me, felt very after school special-ish. And again, I don't want to come across as that person that's like, oh man, well, you don't want to hear nothing positive. You just want to hear them do the bang bang shit. Nah, that's not the case. I think that I'm going to quote Lil Yachty here because I think this is one of the most profound quotes that I've heard in years. The easiest thing in rap to do is be hard. That's the easiest thing. And it takes a certain skill set and a certain level to be able to make conscious material consistently and to make a themed record that has a lot of gravity and wealth to it. That's why we give people like Scarface such, admiration. That's not easy what he does. I dig the attempt, but the execution of it all, for me, feels very after school specialist, right? Special-ish, rather. I think Goody Mob knocked it out of the park with their quote-unquote, I don't even like calling them conscious. It's more of a cautionary tale, right? It's more of a powder gets you hyper, reefer makes you calm, cigarettes give you cancer, woo-woos make you dumb. It's the facts. They're not telling you what not to do. They're just telling you what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for this, it just felt like Mad Max said earlier, it felt like more of an image cleaning thing as opposed to genuinely coming from that place. And for me, I feel like, in respect to Alicia Keys, she did a really good job on the intro. That right there lets me know how over the top you're trying to be with this messaging. It's too much. Say that. You know what I mean? It's too much.
I saw A Keys on the intro. I was like, this is too much for Mike.
It's too much.
I knew that's coming.
But again, I do want to have that conversation of like, can we, when you make your hip hop mark a certain way and having a certain image, is there a way to change that image and continue on musically? I think you can, but I think you have to be very reflective and denounce some of the things you came in the game doing. I think of songs like when T.I. did I Still Ain't Forgave Myself to start off, I'm serious.
I know where you're going with your takes.
There's a way to do it, but for this one, it just felt very forced to me.
Okay. You mind if I piggyback on
No, go ahead. Those are some of my thoughts.
No. First of all, I did laugh when I saw Alicia Keys on the intro and I heard it. I was like, I wonder if Mike is going to complain about her speaking voice the way that he complains about her singing.
Her speaking voice is on point. She sounded great.
What I'll tell you is that Palais Coat, the first song, that record is why the streets do love Durk.
Yeah.
because his talk game on there, when he says stuff like, and we're going to get to this in a second, because there is some depth to him that I want to discuss. I pay for funerals even though I know they're going to hell. Like he's saying, like, you know, I'm paying for my dead homies' funerals, but I know what type of person that they was, so I know what he really did.
Right.
I know what he really did. All My Life with J. Cole is happy, but it's good. It's not great.
You know what it reminds me of?
And most of what's good about it, Mike, is Cole.
Of course. No, Cole did his thing. You know, it feels very I can.
I like real from Cole. Like, if you want to be like, Cole's the best lyricist of this generation, it's like, yes, play the last verse we heard. And we can see that for the past 2-3 years. Play the last verse.
It feels like Nas I Can in that way, where it's intentional of maybe we can get this on the commercial, maybe we, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like Cole was the go-to guy because Cole is positive. And I remember way back in the day when I was in a rap duo, and this is when Atlanta was doing a lot of the crunk stuff or whatever. And myself and my partner in rhyme, Flawless, shout out to him, we kind of had this whole tribe cast type thing going on, right? And so we would perform at these showcases. People be looking at us like we're crazy. But they liked it. They didn't understand, like, should I like this or not, right? But
Is it okay to like this rap music?
Right. Akini the Black Mac, though, he was on Ryan Cameron's morning show at the time. He was holding the showcases at, I forgot what it was called, but it'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, he was like, yo, they picked a winner, I guess, to go out there and do 107.9's school tour or whatever. They picked us. They had us go out there and rap, you know what I'm saying, perform at these high school tours they were doing. But they were only doing that because we were the only acts that were clean enough to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't real, I didn't feel like. I felt like, yeah, y'all bringing us here because the rest of these niggas to perform at these showcases, you can't bring to a high school or a middle school or something. And I feel like that's kind of how Cole's being used in this, where it's like, oh, Cole's the guy to go to for something positive.
I can see that. I'll tell you what, and here's something that I realized about Durk on this album, because I think what's wrong with this album is that we're getting a few different Durks on the album.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I'll tell you what, Mike, he's at his best when he actually speaks on his drama and he shares his personal self-reflective moments with you. Very much like Tupac. Like, Tupac's best songs are drama-riddled and self-reflecting. Durk is very much off the Tupac tree in that vein, is because what I've really realized when you listen to this album is that when he's next to somebody like a Kodak or even a 21, you realize that his fly talk isn't the strength of his game. His strength, Mike, is actually to have depth. And what this album lacks is him going more in depth, because when he goes more in depth is actually when this album hits his mark. When he just when one of the people in our Captain Lady King, she had this song that was called Stunt and Ball, and the hook went stunt, ball, get money, that's all. Stunt, ball, get money, that's all. When you make your records and you stunt and ball and get money, that's all, well, you need to do it very well or be great at it. He's really good at it. He's not great at it like Kodak is, Mike. You get what I'm saying? Right. And so part of why this project may feel uneven to some people, Mike, I don't think he's necessarily playing to his strengths as an artist at this stage. And he needs to start playing to his strengths. Like, the records that he has with guys like that, it's like they usually show him up on the record because their fly talk's better. But when he's saying, you know, the stuff that's going on with him, like when he says stuff like, where is it at? I gave the streets more than my kids. That's disrespectful. When that guy is coming out and talking, that's where he wins. And so I just think that what the album really lacked was more of that to make it feel more cohesive. And I think it's a solid project. But what I will tell you is that the last 3 tracks don't do anything to add value to the album, in my opinion. Like what you get out of this album, you
That's
already get by about track 15, 16. You know what I mean?
You know,
And
it's a lot of tracks on there, even though it plays at like 58 minutes. But you're right. I mean, a couple of these could have been chopped.
the Drew Hill record for me is actually a nice record, but it gets lost in the back. It should have been moved further up to like between the 4 to 7 range. I think it has a better chance there. But he's got some stuff. The War About It with 21 Goes.
Yo, 21
Kodak
snapping, man.
Huh?
21 snapping.
Yeah, he was. Kodak
Yeah.
record goes. The Cross the Globe with Wheezy doing the beat. You know, Durk and Wheezy have been vocal about not getting down with Gunna. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I seen that collaboration. I did have a quick question though. With all these people, you know, saying they don't get down with Gunna, Gunna's next album is going to tell us a lot, Mike, about who Gunna is.
I agree.
And you know what I mean?
Because somebody going to get down with him. And
Right.
all he needs is
somebody's
production.
gonna want the name. Somebody's gonna want the name, Mike.
Exactly.
But
It's an opportunity. It's one of those Timberland, Justin Timberlake opportunities.
Right, but it's like I ain't heard Gunna without Weezy or Metro, and you know what I'm saying. And in the third one, there's
It's a Gunna, Metro is another one that we're forgetting.
yeah.
What I was gonna say though, Gunna is the type that's able to make his own songs. He don't really need features like that. He's very
I ain't talking about
feature-like.
the features. I'm talking about the producers, because a lot of what makes Gunna shit ride is the ride factor. That's
course.
Weezy. That's
Of
Metro.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but him losing Weezy is big. That's big.
Mike, we're not getting no more Drip Too Hard. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's big. Yeah, CJ Kid.
It's no small thing.
Yeah,
Live in
CJ
Atlanta,
Kid with that's big. That's like if Just Blaze said, "Yeah, I working with Jay in the 2000s or something." Like, no,
Right. No, imagine this. It's like, imagine Snoop in the early 2000s being like, yeah, me and Pharrell, we ain't popping no more. It's like, oh, okay, that's what we doing.
CJ Kid with the super chat says,
like, I'm beautiful. What are you niggas talking about?
CJ Kid with the super chat says, have you guys kept up with the BET Best Group Tournament? No, we haven't, but I can pull that up. I got the other computer here before we get out of here.
Ain't no point in pulling that up.
I want to, it's a discussion piece. Jay Short with the super chat says, different situation, but this conversation reminds me of that R. Kelly, You Save Me album. Even if it's decent, you went too far to come back. Seems inauthentic. What was that, man? I was just about to say something in regard to, something that you had just said. Go ahead. My bad. It's something that. What was?
No, you're fine. I mean, that was more or less the gist of my feelings about the album. Like, both of the projects are solid projects that we're reviewing today. I know we're not going to get a chance to review Kodak's out, but that was kind of long too. But yeah, Mike, I mean, it was just a mixed bag with the Durk album. Really, it's a solid project. It's just mixed, and it's like, this is one of those things where it's like I think he's at that point in his career where he's going to have to make a choice about what type of artist he's going to be.
Exactly. It seems like he still had to do some things that he was comfortable with and that his audience, knows him for. But it seems like for whatever reason, he had to go this route too. And, I ain't mad at that. I'm all about the positive route. And I think that what hip hop missed in the 2000s and beyond, I think was the cautionary tales. Like, like I said, Ice Cube doing a song like Young Doing Dumb Shit type stuff, where it's like you have a story in the first verse about what you used to do, second verse about what happened when you did that, and the third verse is about how you changed. You know what I mean? Like, we don't get enough of that anymore. Beginning, middle, and end.
This is what I mean, Mike. It used to be cool for Slick Rick to, like, how about this? Hey Young World? That's very after school special, Mike.
It is.
Half of Heavy D's albums are after school special, Mike. He literally made a rap song called Don't Curse and asked Cool G Rap to get on a record and not curse. There's getting more after school special than that. I'm going to get the nastiest, raunchiest, most cursing, disrespectful, not curse.
I'm trying to find this tournament graphic, but
special.
I want to let people know that I've been challenged to do
I got y'all.
What's that? I've been challenged to actually go out there and do a versus matchup with Ron and the guy that was doing our camera work, and it's probably going to be me against everybody, right? Future versus Drake, and I've been going through Future's catalog. I'm very comfortable in the fact that I could pick 20 records that would beat Drake in a versus matchup, and I know Drake has an incredible catalog too. But I think Future would beat Kendrick and Cole too. What say
Future
you?
got, Future got commas on commas on commas.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Take over the streets. Tony Montana.
Oh, they're doing it with Ambrosia for Heads. I didn't even know that.
Check up on my ends.
I gotta find this tournament graphic. Yeah, Future got joined. They said Future's not beating Drake in the verses.
Circle, Mike?
What's up?
Squares out your circle. You got people who's around you. They go on. You got stuff everywhere, Mike. Well, you ain't even know. I'm going through the Rocco stuff in my head right now. Lil, you ain't even know it.
I ain't even got to go there. They said Future's washing a lot of people. I agree. Listen.
March Madness, Mike. Mask off.
Man, I got the whole Rolodex down. I was listening to those records. I'm like, oh yeah, man. What is Drake gonna do when I play this record? Or when I play this record?
Mark Jr. I call Cuz Mark Jr. He'll help you, Mike. He think Future the GOAT, Mike. He got like everything all Future.
A lot of people think Future's the GOAT. Shout out to Future.
Not the GOAT.
Huh?
Future not the GOAT. Shout out to
I'm
Cuz.
just saying. This is the thing though. We always talk about Drake, Kendrick, and Cole in this generation. Are any of them more influential than Future is? And would any of them actually beat Future in a versus?
Right now, I'm just taking J. Cole over all these dudes. The rest of these dudes are looking flaky to me, Mike. I'm going to take the rapping ass rapper.
I think J. Cole's probably the best MC overall, yes. But he don't have the records the Future got.
No, nobody got a few records Future got, Mike.
Yeah. So, yeah, Future might need to get a little bit more respect put on his name. And I don't know if it's because I was, sipping yesterday, but I was listening to Power of Attorney. And on the second verse, I'm like, yo, man, Future's snapping. Like, every word that he was saying was coming through clear. I think one of the big things about Future in his rapping, a lot of people don't really understand him because of his drawl and some of the auto-tune that's being used, but it's clear that he can rap.
Now, Mike, you just got up on here on television of some sort, or YouTube Live. You said that you were sipping, but you understood Future clearly.
I did. It was crazy.
These are lies, people. I'm sorry.
It was crazy.
I'd like to apologize to the people, Mike.
I'm 100% for real. I was like, yo.
Alcohol, you didn't understand.
I went and rewind. I was like, yo, man, did he say that?
Okay.
Did he say that?
For everybody. I guess we need two doubles to understand Future clearly, apparently. Get like Mike B. Knock a couple down.
Well, I mean, and I'm from Atlanta, too. And I'm from Atlanta, too, so I can understand.
I Future said since like 2015, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, let me go to this graphic real quick because this is what BET got out. They got the tournament. Actually, I had to go to Ambrosia for Heads to actually get the whole tournament. But it looks like the final, what is this, 8? The final 8 is the Death Row family versus TDE. And then they got So Def. Whoa, So Def made it this far. Versus YCMB, Young Money. And then you got Good Music and Hypnotized Minds. Wow, Hypnotized Minds made it this far. And then you got Wu-Tang versus Rough Riders. I feel like based on what I'm seeing,
Wu-Tang's beating everybody.
Wu-Tang should beat Rough Riders. Good Music should beat Hypnotized Minds. I'm going to be fair. I know I'm biased on both. Wu-Tang will definitely beat Good Music.
Wu-Tang beating everybody.
So Death Row should beat TDE.
Yes, happened.
YCMB should beat So Def.
Death Row beating everybody.
Death Row should beat YCMB, but then you got Death Row versus Wu-Tang. It's Wu-Tang still.
It's Wu-Tang forever, Mike.
Yeah, nobody can really compete with that.
Mike, we've been doing this show for 3 years. When I be saying Wu-Tang forever, like I don't be joking, Mike.
Because the problem is here, a lot of these people shouldn't even...
That's the problem, Mike. It's Wu-Tang playing, Mike. You can't win.
A lot of these people shouldn't even be considered crews. The Death Row family, it's like, what does that really consist of?
You understand. you have to create families and crews to make it a viable competition against Wu-Tang.
Right.
Wu-Tang forever.
So okay, Death Row beat Hieroglyphics. NWA Posse beat Soul Assassins, and then Death Row Family had to go up against NWA Posse. What do you think about that? The Death Row Family beating NWA Posse.
Yes, Death Row had Snoop and Tupac next.
Okay, so TDE beats Odd Future. That's kind of questionable, but I get that because see, this is my thing. You can't be a crew if you ain't never made a album together. We still ain't got no TDE album.
There ain't no TDE Posse cut, Mike.
I mean, they got Black Lit Bastard remix, but that's about it. It's a few songs, it's some remixes, but they don't have any like project together or anything. TDE beat Sick With It. They gave TDE an easy route. I'm sorry, man. TDE beats Odd Future.
Don't matter.
Okay, so YCMB beats Grand Hustle. Not mad at that. No Limit beat Rap A Lot. Do you think YCMB should have beaten the No Limit Soldiers?
No.
I don't think so either. That's too many motherfuckers.
No Limit ain't beating no damn Wu-Tang either, though, Mike.
No, they're not. Quality Control lost to So Def. I'm not mad at that. Maybach Music lost to the Dungeon Family. But get this. So Def beat the Dungeon Family. Now, how does that work?
Don't know how that happened.
Okay.
We'd like to see Dungeon Family Wu-Tang.
How many rappers do we got in So Def? So, all right, so y'all pulled out.
They counting Rocco?
So the Brat, JD, and Bow Wow beat OutKast, Goody Mob, Cool Breeze, Witch Doctor, Backbone, possibly Killer Mike, you know, all that.
Chris Cross, too. Don't forget Chris Cross.
Oh, Chris Cross, I'm sorry.
They had Rocco, too. JD had Rocco.
Yeah. I mean, I love Rocco, but I'll put Cool Breeze on Rocco. We'll be good. We'll be neutralized.
Both of those guys. Those are two of my favorite Atlanta heroes, Mike. Lil Rocco and Lil Breeze.
So then, by our tournament, it would be Dungeon Family versus No Limit.
That's quality over quantity.
It really is. I would say longevity-wise, I'm going Dungeon Family.
But actually, Mike, if you were going by hits and bangers, it would be No Limit, Mike.
It would be. But if we were going by albums, best albums, it would be Dungeon Family.
Master P alone got Bout It, Ice Cream Man,
No, you're right.
No Limit Soldiers, and Make Them Say, Mystical got, Here I Go.
Oh, man, he got hella shit. No. Mystical's a beast in itself.
Danger.
All right, so they had Wu-Tang going against Dreamville. I don't know how they came up with that matchup. Everything else seems to be regional, but somehow...
Dreamville versus TDE, that's reasonable. Put no Dreamville up against Wu-Tang. You know how unfair that is?
Yeah, Wu-Tang won that one, obviously. Native Tongue versus the Juice Crew. The Juice Crew won. And then it was Juice Crew versus Wu-Tang, man. That wasn't
right.
That wasn't right. The Juice Crew...
They're doing like they're putting people with comparable crews.
Exactly, because honestly, the Juice Crew should be in the final 8, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got Kane, Biz, Marley Marl, Shan, Cool G Rap, Roxanne, Shantae. No, they should be in the final 8. Putting them up against Wu-Tang in the second round ain't right. That's not right. That's that 90s bias over 80s bias, man.
That is because in Kane and G Rap, the only other crews that have anything for that are Death Row with Tupac and Snoop and Wu-Tang.
Exactly. That wasn't right.
Right, it's not right.
Okay, so and then you had the Bad Boy Family versus Rough Riders, and somehow Rough Riders won that.
No, I'm with that.
You're with that?
Yeah, because the Locks left Bad Boy and went to Rough Riders, so they probably count Locks.
No. We got to count them for both. So that cancels out each other. Then you got Biggie and X. Then you got Kim and Eve. Give me Kim. Yeah, no. Because the Locks represent on both of them. And then you got Mace. And honestly, Rough Riders doesn't even have an answer for Mace. You want to put Mace on Drag On?
No, that's fair, Mike. You might have a point.
And then it was Rockefeller and G-Unit. They picked G-Unit over Rockefeller. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that sounds about right, Mike.
Really? Even if we're just talking about Rockefeller where it's just Jay, Beans, Memphis, and Emil. And then you got 50, Banks, Buck, and Yayo.
I mean, Mike, not to be funny, like, Beans is better than all those guys in G Unit, including 50 as an MC. But, man, 50 and them made some records, Mike.
They did.
Rockefeller just quite frankly didn't make. Like
they got 2 albums, you're right.
Freeway's album is probably the biggest record that came out of Rockefeller that wasn't on a Jay or Cam album.
Okay.
Like, Mike, you take that over there to the other side? Oh, no. They got,
Okay, and then Good Music beat the Saint Lunatics. Shady Records beat Bone Thugs. I don't know how Bone Thugs is a crew. Maybe Mo Thugs is a crew. So
are you backwards about who beat who?
Yeah, I'm going to the other side just to show how we got to this final 8. And so Soul Aquarians beat Griselda. Hypnotized Minds beat CMG. And then that ended up with Hypnotized Minds beating Soul Aquarian. Good Music beat Shady. Rough Riders beat G Unit, which I disagree with as well, based on what you just said. And Wu-Tang beat Juice Crew, and that's how we got to the final 8. But my thing with this whole thing is we have to really constitute what a crew is. I think a crew and a label are 2 different things. I think a crew is a collective, like the Dungeon Family, that's a crew. You got OutKast and Goody Mob, and you got, Cool Breeze, Witch, Dr. Backbone. All of these guys are individual acts with their individual situations, and they come together and represent that crew. A label is a whole different situation. You know what I'm saying? It gets dicey.
Please start labels and form crews, but I hear what you're saying.
It gets dicey because Cold Chillin' is the label, where the Juice Crew is the crew.
See, but that's what I mean. But then there's Rockefeller, which is, you know what I'm saying?
I think when I think of the Rockefeller crew, like I told you, I think of Jay, Beans, Memphis, and Emil. I think the label is a whole different, movement. But when I think of Rockefeller crew, I think of them 4. Maybe because that's the posse cuts we were getting at the time.
See, for me, it's not even Emil. It's just Jay, Bleak, and Beans.
I mean, you can't exclude Emil. I mean, whether you're a fan of her or not, she was in the crew.
Yes, I can, Mike. She was there for a year.
Jay Short with the super chat says, y'all saying Woo easy sounds like East Coast cooking. Death Row got 2 top 10 rappers, 3 top 10 albums, GOAT producer, and worked with the GOAT hook artist.
Okay, let's pause for a second. First of all, when you say 3 top 10 albums, that's not true. That's the first part. You have 2 top 10 albums. You know who else has 2 top 10 albums? Guess who? Mike. Wu-Tang Clan. That's right, Mike. That's what I mean. Is it's like, no, I know exactly what I'm saying. It's like, no, you have the Chronic and Doggy Style. Can I introduce you to Into the Wu-Tang and the Purple Tape? Like, the East Coast versions of that shit.
Yeah, I'm putting Wu-Tang over Death Row Family.
But hold on. Yeah. No, Mike, we're not finished. No, Mike, the master hook guy is on Wu-Tang Clan side. I don't know what Jay Short talking about.
Yeah.
You got the right. You talking about greatest hook guy? It's like, you might have the right collective in terms of the final, but Method Man's on the other side. It don't matter who on that side about no hooks.
So you think Method Man got Snoop in the hook game?
Yes, Mike. It's not even conversational. But here's what you do have. You do have Tupac and Snoop, so you have 2 top 10 MCs.
Right.
But here's what I keep trying to tell you, Mike. No, Mike. Mike, they got Ray. They got Ghost. They got Meth. They got Dirt. They got the Jizza. They got Dick. Mike, they got 6 guys that as far as touching the mic, you could legitimately say, no, those 6 guys are all top 50.
You know what we need
that
to
way
do
about those 6 guys. Death Row doesn't have that.
What we need to do, Coop.
After Corrupt, how about this? Corrupt's comp and Wu-Tang is Deck. Deck is 6 on the food chain. Corrupt's 3rd on the food chain over there. That's where this is over at.
Do you want a versus for that?
Mike, I want a versus tonight. It's Wu-Tang forever.
Wu-Tang versus Death Row, huh?
Nah, I like that more than Dre versus Kanye.
I do too. I do too.
Fuck the Dre and Kanye.
Okay. I'll take Death Row. Yeah, I'll take Death Row.
I'm about to murder what's the case your ass, Mike.
Well, you know what? What we need to do is we're gonna put, and I want to let the audience know, man. We're gonna put a lot of this stuff into real application, man. Me and Coop were like, yo, we need to do an According to Hip Hop block party. You know what I'm saying? We need to do something to get people out, you know, and have live music and play some of the stuff that we're talking. So we were thinking that, you know, we're gonna do the Juneteenth event still, of course, but you know, make it a family-friendly event and a block party situation. Have some food, drinks, music, and you know, have some of these conversations and performers, and you know what I'm saying, just a good time in the summer.
Yeah, we're going to be having our Juneteenth event, June 17th. Shout out to my man LT, who's been taking care of the artist side of things. We're going to have some artists from around the country that are going to be coming. The community focus is always going to be nonviolence and unity. Currently scheduling and working on some food vendors now to make sure everybody's happy, and some amenities for families as well. So.
And yeah, and food vendors and anybody who wants to go out there and be a vendor with their business, we'll have you on the show, talk about your business, and have you, you know, have your vending spot set up where you can, you know, sell your stuff, you know, whether it's food, whether it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that'd be a great opportunity to connect the fans with the community and with business, and you know, people can come on the show and talk about their business, and we can all have a good time with some music, some drink, and some food at the same time. Bring the kids out on a nice sunny Saturday.
And for all of you who are not going to be able to attend because you follow us in other states, or maybe you don't do what every other black person in America does during the summertime, it seems like, which is come to Atlanta, Mike and I are going to be setting up a thread shortly for you to be able to donate to the event if you want to, and we're going to work out some merchandise to get to those, some According to Hip Hop merchandise.
Yeah.
For those who actually want to donate and support the cause for the things that we're doing.
What do you think about the possibility of having some merch that is exclusive to the block party, where it's like some According to Hip Hop block party merch? Kind of like, you know, how they did with the Freaknik shirts back in the day or whatever. Like, I was here.
No. Absolutely. Like when I was at the Garden for the Nas show, the Knicks and Nas put together a whole MSG thing to let you know that you could only would have gotten that had you been there. So exclusive merch is always, you know, the way to go. So yeah, let's get some exclusive merch out to the people who are really supporting and showing love.
For sure, man. And again, we're gonna keep y'all updated, and we want everybody's input on the event too. And got some ideas, or like I said, you got a business that you wanna promote and want to be out there to the masses, holla at us so we can go ahead and, you know, get you on at the block party. You got to represent the summertime.
We're going to have more details coming in the next week. We're about to lock in and secure some things this weekend. We just hope to see everybody out June 17th, 1959 Metropolitan Avenue. We're going to have a great time. Shout out to my man LT once again for putting together the artist side. It's going to be a full-scale concert, actually. So you're going to be able to get food, drinks, full concert.
The whole shebang.
Get Mike D and Coop, you know.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be there, too, of course. Esquire with the super chat says, any MC rankings today? Probably not today. Probably, you know, solidify a lot of that next week. We hope to have the list done by next week. CJ Kidd says, gotta stop acting like Game wasn't in G Unit, too.
That's fair.
That's fair.
How about this? That's what I mean about G Unit. Look at it. It's like, okay, where would Bleak be in G Unit?
It's true.
He would be after, I think, 50, Banks, Game, and Buck. Before Yayo. So he would be fifth in their crew.
That's interesting. I didn't think about it.
And they made more hits too, Mike. Like, I'll teach you how to stunt. I want to get to know you with Joe. Remember the joint 50? I know you don't love me.
Oh, that was on Yayo's album.
I know you don't love me.
That song,
right? Fire. Remember that? That's what I'm saying. Disco Inferno.
I feel like
love it. How we do? What up, gangster? What up, blood? What up, cuz?
One could say that 50 One could say that 50 may have done too much to actually insert like his style on his artist, but I will say this.
That was great for his artist.
It
He
was
did
great
it
for his
right.
artist. He did more to help his artist than Jay ever did on wax. You know what I
I've
mean?
been saying that,
Yeah.
Mike. Mike,
He
Lloyd Banks
carried
is
them to the
dropping.
finish line.
Look,
Yeah.
Lloyd Banks is dropping first single. Who right there singing the hook?
Mm-hmm.
Mike, Young Buck dropping. Who right there singing the hook? That nigga, what? That nigga went Patti LaBelle for his crew. Yeah, he did. He like, no. I'm not a rapper. I'll sing these hooks for you. Make sure everybody go platinum.
You know what I saw last night, man? The Braves had OutKast night. And they had the OutKast bobbleheads to the first 15,000 fans that came there. And Big Boy
did the commentary.
Big Boy did the commentary, and he threw the first pitch out there. And I love to see Atlanta doing those things. And whoever was in charge of doing that with the Braves, I think that was awesome. Also saw that Andre 3000 was in Japan playing the flute.
I knew you was gonna do this. I knew we weren't gonna, Mike.
But you might not.
I was wondering because I was like, man, Mike ain't said nothing about it. I'm not gonna say nothing because Mike, you know who you are by now. No.
You may be surprised at my take on this.
You are and what you've been doing.
You may be surprised at my take on this, man. Like, we all wish that we could do what Andre's doing right now. Like, in a hectic world where people gotta, get from point A to B, get home to their families, this and that. This man is able to basically travel the world and play his flute, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of live however he wants to live. Like, he's truly free. I love that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that after seeing that, I was like, man, I really wish we all should aspire to get to that point one day. He doesn't give a fuck. I like it. And the only thing I don't like is how he may leave Big Boy hanging sometimes. But other than that, he's free.
Mike, you get on my goddamn nerves sometimes, and I'm going to tell you why. Of all the times that you've gotten on this man that maybe you shouldn't have, Mike, I'm here to tell you this is one of the times you're actually supposed to be on his ass. What kind of funky ride is this? Let me take you on a funky ride. Mike. No, I'm not about to let you do this.
I would have loved to have seen him at the Braves game,
Mike,
but do we really expect him to be there at this point?
Mike, at this point, this group is retired.
Oh, yeah. They've been.
No, that's what I'm about to say. No, Mike, this group is retired. I don't know if you've noticed, but mostly when it comes to sports, Mike, we're more known about the women we provide to the athletes when they come into the city than we are for the damn sports. You got dudes that's coming down here literally just to smash our girls. I don't know how else to say it, and the girls be letting them. And we got one viable winning sports franchise. And that one viable winning sports franchise decides that they want to celebrate our most celebrated group.
Yeah.
Group. None of that menu said Big Boy stuff. It said OutKast stuff. They're retired, Mike. Mike, I don't know if you noticed. We're in our 40s now. That means them niggas approaching 50.
Do you think?
No, Mike, I'm not finished. That since we prop them up to this level in this city, that at some point, Mike, and I ain't talking about no goddamn concert, that this man will maybe get off of that path and come back and receive some of the flowers and adulation that afforded him that ability to go play the flute in Japan at the drop of a dime. Would he like to come home sometime and maybe receive those honors? Because here's the thing about it. Him doing stuff like this is keeping Big Boy from getting some of the things he deserves.
It's true.
And that's my problem with it, because truthfully, this group is retired. And this shit, think about it, Mike. If the Braves is doing this, not being funny, it's like, well, black people don't watch the Braves like that down here or like around the country. Well, the Hawks and the Falcons ain't going to do it because Andre don't want to be involved. You feel what I'm saying? There's a lot of promoters and a lot of events in the city. Well, Andre, they want OutKast, Mike, and about Big Boy and about what Big Boy's done for him as far as holding OutKast down.
Yep.
Always holding this name up high. Never heard this guy say one thing sideways about Drake. Ever.
Big Boy is the greatest partner ever.
He's the greatest partner ever. You can't bring your ass home to an Atlanta Braves game and do commentary with Big Boy and soak all. Do you know how big that would be, Mike? So no, I'm not okay with him playing the flute in Japan. I tell you what, after you and Big Boy get done with your promo, go take your ass to Atlanta Hartsfield Airport. Go down to the train area where we all get on and load. That's the biggest airport in the world.
Yeah, go to E and F.
When you get done at Truist Park, you can go down to Atlanta Hartsfield. You can go down to the train. I usually used to get on train number 2 because it drops you off usually right by the elevators when you're getting off. A little inside information. And you can go play your flute up and down there as much as you want to after the Braves game is over. How about that?
Well, you brought up.
Why can't we compromise?
You brought up some interesting points, right? And I want to piggyback on them. First of all, do the Braves do this night if Big Boy doesn't confirm that he's going to show up, right? Like, I don't think they do. So the fact that Big Boy's holding it down for the brand and allowing this night to happen by, utilizing or giving them his time, giving the fans his time, I think that's a big thing, and he's doing it for the both of them. Now, the other part of this is the fact that I know I was really campaigning very hard for them to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and get on the ballot, but maybe some trepidation that the Academy has, for lack of a better term, is the fact that Andre might not show up. He might not show up if they get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No, Mike, I'm not being funny. Like, they're getting older. Like, how about this? Not being funny, Mike. We didn't get the opportunity to give Tribe their proper flowers.
Yeah.
Fife died on us. Like, stop playing these games.
Well, that's
for real. No. Life is precious. No. Tribe didn't even really get their full flowers. Fife died, Mike.
No. And I remember when Andre was at Fife's memorial and he said that there were talks of a Tribe and OutKast album coming together, and he said, I don't know why it didn't happen. It didn't happen for some reason or something. It's like, Dre, we know the reason it didn't happen, man. Don't do that. Because more than likely...
No, he did not do that.
More than likely, Fife and Big Boy were clearly down. And more than likely, the person who came to you with this was Q-Tip. More than likely. I don't know. But it's like, yeah, for some reason it didn't happen. I was like, really, Dre? Some reason? CJ Kidd with the super chat says, I think they meant Nate Dogg for the hooks. Nate Dogg is greater than Method Man with the hooks. Oh, okay. Okay. Jay Short with the super chat says, are you saying that All Eyes on Me is the top 10? Are you saying that Method Man has a better hooks than Nate Dogg?
I'm telling you both of those things.
Ooh, I'm rolling with Nate Dogg on this one. Frank Wizard with the super chat says, Nate Dogg kills them hooks. You about to have our Death Row Wu-Tang battle, Mike? Yeah.
About to see how much Nate's funky ass hooks matter, Mike.
I'm with it. I'm excited about it. Frank Wizard with the super chat says, Nate Dogg kills them hooks too. He's Death Row, right? He is. His album came out on Death Row.
Taking these L's.
And the features that he put out there were on Death Row albums.
Not ready for my challenge, style, Mike.
I can use Regulate if I want, right? That was on the Death Row album.
Love the Rim is on the Death Row conglomerate. So, yes, Pour Out a Little Liquor, Afro Puffs, Regulate. What else is on there that's gangster? Those are the records. Jay Short with the super chat says, congrats to Andre for graduating hip-hop culture. I hope that he enjoys his quote-unquote freedom in Japan outside of ATL. That sounded very facetious coming from Jay Short. Very petty.
Jay Short says, don't fool yourself, Mike. Andre is showing up for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He ain't that free. I didn't want to say it, but
you know that's true too.
This is the thing. If he shows up for that and doesn't show up for the Braves OutKast night, that's not a good look. Not a good look. Shout out to Big Boy for being there, though. Again, carrying the banner for not only OutKast, but the Dungeon family as a collective. People don't understand how important that is. It has to be somebody to keep the flag going. If you don't, your legacy kind of dies off. And we've even seen OutKast's legacy die off in the next generation because of inactivity. You know who we really saw that with? The Fugees. And happy birthday to Lauryn Hill. It's her birthday today. But the Fugees' legacy, I literally watched totally take a nosedive over the years because of inactivity. People don't even really mention the Fugees as they should because of that. And that's unfortunate because I think, me personally, Fugees are one of my favorite groups.
How, Mike? With what material?
I mean, when they came out, they were one of my favorite groups. You know what I mean? Like, it's that whole thing where it's like when the score came out, I'm like, yo, these niggas is different. But then nothing else came out, and like you said, it just kept dropping.
Right, that's 96.
Yeah.
And it's only about 7, Mike, and in all respect to it, but I always felt this way. When everybody loved the album, it was almost like, to me, here's my thing with the score. It's one of those albums that lets you know that hip-hop can stretch borders and boundaries.
Yep.
But as a rap album, it's only got about 7 rap songs.
No, that's real. But they were stretching boundaries that really hadn't been, stretched at that point. So it was new. And we kind of overlooked those things. LP with the super chat says, bet you 3,000 would play the flute at the Met Gala before the Braves versus Mets game. Gotta stop acting like he ain't chase that mainstream love and leave hip-hop. The fans are speaking out. Let's see. The real Leonard Washington with the super chat. I don't see a message here. Appreciate the super chat.
Oh, yeah, celebrate the first super chat from the real Leonard Washington. Leonard Washington's the first super chat. I thought Leonard back. Maybe Leonard was gone and now he's back. I feel like Leonard has super chatted us before. He's been such a presence on the show. Oh, he said he said in the super chat he meant to say Coop done bumped his hip hop head, disrespecting Nate Dogg's hook game.
I think Nate Dogg's hook game was up. Yeah.
You want to know what, Mike? I love Nate Dogg's hook game. When I was thinking of hook game, I was thinking about MCs. Nate Dogg is not an MC, but he does belong to the Death Row conglomerate that I'm about to tap dance on, Mike. I would like to make this versus a 25 song versus since we both have so much material to go through.
25. Okay, let's do it. We can do it. I'm cool with that.
I want to whoop that ass the right way, Mike.
I don't know. I think you're kind of trying to trick me when it comes to the 25 because I don't have a whole lot of albums to choose from. You do.
Oh, Mike, but the albums that you have to choose from, though, Mike.
I don't have a whole lot to choose from. I think 25 could be to my detriment. Let me think about it.
Mike, you got All Eyes on Me, Book 1, 2, and Machiavelli. You got The Dog Food, Murder Was the Case, Above the Rim, Doggy Style, The Chronic. That's 9 albums, Mike. I think you got 25 classic songs in there. I think you might be tripping just a little bit. You know that whole Dog? You remember Dog Food, right, Mike?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Shout out to the Dog Pound.
Like, West Coast don't even make albums like that anymore, including Kendrick. Like, how about this? I'm a big Schoolboy Q. You know how I feel about Q. I don't think Q has one album better than Dog Food. You think one of Q's albums better than Dog Food?
Who?
Q. Schoolboy.
Oh, I thought you said Cube. I was like, what?
Dog Food, there ain't no question about that. Q. Q got something better than Dog Food?
It's a good question.
Right. Dog Food like that. You got stuff.
Yeah. Dog Food's like that.
Because Dog Food might be the least notarized album in the catalog.
Exactly. No, for real.
Stuff.
It is. CJ Kid with the super chat says, need evidence for meth over Nate Dogg comment, Coop.
I have evidence. It's called Cream. Next.
Cream is pretty, yeah.
You're talking about what the evidence? Cream. Ice cream. Next.
No. I'm saying Cream is pretty tough.
So is ice cream. Nate Dogg got 2 hooks better than Cream and ice cream?
What is Nate Dogg's best hit?
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
Regulate? Ain't no hook in there.
Ain't no hook. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Look, these nuts ain't a hook. It's a bridge. I can't be faded. That's a bridge. It's not a hook.
A lot of Nate Dogg's big hook work came after Death Row. Yeah. No, it's real.
Right. Hate to be the one to break it to you. Explosive? That ain't no hook. Hold, that's another bridge.
No. Explosive ain't a part of the Death Row catalog either.
Oh, that's Aftermath. It is.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Next episode. Oh yeah, Mike, you're going down.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going down.
Yeah, I don't have those records to pull from.
You're gonna be playing a lot of Tupac. I'm gonna tell you now, you're gonna be playing a lot of Tupac. Not winning. Better thug life it out, Mike. Wu-Tang forever.
Before we get out of here, man, I want to shout out to Orenike. She gave me a great interview yesterday. Actually, we aired it yesterday. She's they're putting on the Rappers Delight 50 years of hip hop festival. That's actually going to be brought to you by the National Black Arts Festival. So they're basically taking on the hip hop aesthetic as their art piece for this festival, right? They normally do art festivals and Hip Hop 50, and they're looking at everything in the culture as a full out art piece. So each era, they're going to celebrate all 50 years musically, all kind of DJs on that. So check out the interview that I did with her. She actually goes in length. They're going to have a lot of music and technological, pieces that they're pulling together, and it's just going to be an all-out party. And I think that next week, that's why we're going to continue to party with our block party as well. But yeah, that's going to be from 8 to 12, June 10th, here in Atlanta, Georgia, over there on West Side Paper. But yeah, that's just going to be really dope. I'm looking forward to it. We're actually going to post up over there too, and get some exclusive trivia games out to our folks. So we're kind of planning some of those things, give people some details as that's coming up. So y'all get 2 weekends of Mike and Coop if you want.
Mike, you will. It's going to be a little back-to-back Mike D and Coop in locations and venues that are identifiable in the city of Atlanta to show that we exist in the city of Atlanta together. I really don't like...
we out here this summer.
Haters are in the chat trying to give you song help, Mike. It's Death Row. It's Death Row, you busters. He don't need no song help. We all know the song.
I think we all know the stuff.
Sound crazy.
I'll take all the help y'all can get.
Yeah, because Mike don't know about Deep Cover and What's My Name. He just missing those records.
Wait a minute. Does Deep Cover count? Is Deep Cover on Death Row?
I would look and see, Mike. I mean, you'd be a fool not to use Deep Cover if it's available to you.
I mean, if it's available, I'm using it, but I don't know if it is. I want to be fair here.
No, you need to be fair, but I'm pretty certain the Deep Cover might be part of the Death Row catalog. Okay. Check and see, Mike.
Okay, I'm going to check and see. Jay Short with the super chat.
I'll tell you what, Mike, this is going to be the best battle yet, actually.
It will be. This is going to be fun. Y'all thought the Nas and Jay features was fun. This is going to be real fun.
It's going to be fun, Mike, because it's like I'm thinking of some of the stuff you're going to play because it's a whole style thing, too, because stylistically, it's going to be such a clash. It's like, what are you going to do when I play Brooklyn Zoo? Like, what are you going to do?
Listen, I remember when we did the Patreon and you had Wu-Tang and I had Dungeon Family and I got smoked. So I understand the aesthetic that Wu-Tang comes with. I'm going to have to come with some monster records.
Yeah.
Period.
Like, how about this? Like...
I can't even play the favorites. I got to come with monsters.
Mike, you can fuck around and play them album records for Death Row if you want to.
I'm not doing that. Because you're going to go to Into the 36. You're going to go to the Purple Tape. And this is pretty much going to be an Into the 36 Purple Tape versus the Chronic and Doggy Style. And everything else is sprinkled in.
Mike, want to know what we're really about to find out? We're about to find out how good a couple of albums are, because I think we know what the Chronic and Doggy Style are, and we know what Into the Wu-Tang and the Purple Tape are. But Mike, Dog Food, for one, on your side. Listen to what I'm about to say, Mike. Iron Man on my side.
Mm-hmm.
About to know what those two albums sound like. And for you, Mike, and listen to what I'm about to say. Well, Mike, you got All Eyes on Me. I got Supreme Clientele and Liquid Swords. That's really what it comes down to. No, really. It's like, it's Supreme Clientele and Liquid Swords, Better Than All Eyes on Me, and Dog Food.
Yeah, you're forgetting about Machiavelli. That is on Death Row, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I got Iron Man. That's why I'm saying, no. It's not Purple Tape and Into the Wu-Tang that I'm about to see how classic it is. About to see how classic the Ghost shit is. So Supreme and Iron Man. And see how Liquid Swords really holds outside of shadow boxing, Mike. You feel me? That's real.
Jay Short with the super chat says, would you rather have gotten a third proper album from the Fugees, Far Side, or Diggable Planets? The Fugees, easy.
I would have rather got that 5th OutKast rap album. Don't care about them 3rd albums. Where's my OutKast album, nigga? I'm from Atlanta. I'm from Zone 6, East Side.
We're not gonna get another OutKast album.
Goddamn diggable.
Dre didn't even show up to the Braves game that was honoring him. He was in Japan playing the flute. Ain't no more OutKast album.
One damn Diggable Planets album number 3. Blowout Cone Part 2 ass niggas.
I love Diggable Planet.
No, I'm fucking around. I'm just talking shit.
CJ Kid with the super.
Mike, I would want the Fugees album, Mike, because it's Wyclef. I would want the Fugees album with a caveat, Mike, like within 5 years of after the score being released.
Well, I mean, what we got after that was the Carnival and the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. So yes, I want that 3rd Fugees album.
Yeah, right. Because I mean,
like goddamn,
the 3rd Fugees album sounds like Lauryn's album. It sounds like the Carnival. Give me that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think. And see, at that point, after the Carnival and Miseducation, I think the Fugees' legacy got bumped up even more because we know that those are solo efforts, but we attributed that to the refugee camp. And then when they just stopped, their whole legacy just nosedived as a group. Now, Lauryn is Lauryn, you know what I mean? She's a little different, but everybody else involved, it's like you have to stay active. CJ Kid with the super chat says, ain't no fun and same hoe greater than the Method Man hooks. Talking about.
First of all, Madman, I'll have you know that I'm a big Speech fan. I actually met Speech. He's a very, very nice brother.
Yeah, Speech is great. You ready to get up out of here? We got a couple more super chats before we leave. Reggie with the super chat says, Mike Coop, can you get Kennedy and Shortbread to do a hook on the next A2HH freestyle? Sure. I guess I can't speak for them. We'll ask. I mean, we're gonna get them to come to the block party if that's good.
I'm about to say, since you're so concerned about it, why don't you buy a ticket? Come to the block party. I'm sure they'll be there because we're inviting them, and you can politic with those lovely young ladies yourself, my brother.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much everything, right?
Hold on 1 second. My mama said knock you out. 31%. Mr. Smith, 34%. Bigger and Deafer, 18%. Radio, 17%.
This is the problem, Coop. Because many people would tell you that the historic significance of Bigger and Deafer and radio trump all of those things, but the fact that we have albums
said knock you out and Mr. Smith, they are. He's a better artist, and I agree. Because
no,
my 2 favorite
I agree with
albums
that.
are Mama Said Knock You Out and Mr. Smith. Albums, not songs, albums.
The problem is, though, these came in the 90s, right? And like I said, LL is missing that knockout 90s classic album. I think that's why he's not in these conversations with a lot of people, because these are the ones they remember. Like you said, you know, it's like, let's just say Bigger and Deafer in an updated fashion had the impact that it had then, and it was updated as a 90s album and came out in the 90s, I think the whole conversation would be different. You know what I'm saying? Because really, radio and Bigger and Deafer, it's not Long Live the King. It's not Paid in Full. It's not Criminal Minded.
It's definitely not the Greatest Adventures of Slick Rick.
It's not. Great albums, but no.
You know, here's the thing about it. You want to know what it is, and this is what I mean about timing. LL's timing is a blessing and a curse.
Mm-hmm.
The blessing is that he's the first guy there.
Yep.
The curse is what happens right after he arrives.
Exactly. Yep. No, I agree with you 100%.
So you're dealing, think about this. A teenager is having to pivot his whole style 2 to 3 years into his style. He doesn't even have his whole style yet.
Exactly.
Understand, this 15-year-old, by the time he is 17, 18 years old, the game is fucking different.
Exactly. And you know what? We got to give LL crazy props for being able to last that, because that shit took out Run DMC. As great of a group as they are, these are an all-time great group, but that style change took them out of the game.
Houdini.
Yeah, it took them out.
Yeah,
it took them out. These guys are legends.
Rakim, Kane, and KRS took them dudes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
It changed everything.
How dudes rapping now? Can't rap like that no more.
And we got to give LL props for even sticking around. You know what I'm saying? Because when Rakim and KRS came, everything that came before him was gone.
You want to know what, too, Mike? And and people don't understand this, he actually just did what we watched Ja Rule do.
Mm-hmm.
He looked around at the lane and was like, "Oh no, look at Nas and Jay and DMX. I'm going over here. What would I be without you?"
You remember when Ja Rule used to get compared to DMX? You remember those days?
All the time, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
All
And he
the
carved
time.
his
Nothing.
own lane, and he did what was right.
But that's what that's a page out of LL's book, Mike, because hearing Rakim and Kane and all that, you notice a lot of that hard stuff that he's kicking on 85 and 87 albums, Mike. That's where the switch up happens, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
He like, oh, I can't kick this shit no more. Look, you hear what, KRS-One out here talking about not my 9mm goes bang. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to say this last point before we get out of here. Do you think that LL adapting, which is why he was able to last so long, do you think him adapting actually dimmed his light throughout decades?
It did, but it gave him his survival, Mike, because that's how we got. Listen to what I'm saying. If you really want to think about his big records, Mike, not the hip hop records, because the hip hop records are radio. I'm bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Mike, when he started making Jingling Baby, going back to Cali, I Need Love. What are the songs that he's remembered for now? You feel me?
Yeah.
They're actually the songs that he was actually like, oh, this nigga L sweet with it.
You're
but
right.
Those are the records that took him and held him. And so it's like, no. But by the time Mama Said Knock You Out is coming around, see, now it's been 5 years. Now the 15-year-old man is 20, and now he can rap with these guys. And you hear it on Mama Said Knock You Out. It just took some time. And by 95 with Mr. Smith, when the guy is, 25.
What an incredible career. And I wish...
while he's in his 20s, Mike. Imagine that. Imagine being called Unc and you in your 20s in the game.
Exactly. And it's like, what an incredible career. And no one really talks to him about his process. And no one talks to him about the artistic side of it. And like you said, having to adjust, having to adapt. I've seen a million LL interviews, and I don't think they've ever addressed those things. But props to him. But I do want to know what that mental state is like when you have to adapt and to the game.
KRS-One and Kane and G-Rap and all those guys, they made LL stop kicking battle raps and become a songwriter.
Yeah.
He became a songwriter because of it, because he knew, he's like, oh no, Mike, I can imagine somebody came out in 85, hearing Rakim in 88, terrifying.
But he still kept the battle close to him. And he was ready to battle whenever. And he proved that in different eras too.
He wasn't going to battle any of those guys and win at their peak, but yeah.
I truly believe, and I could be wrong, that No Omega sounds like, LL's getting some bars. But I don't know, man. Rakim was kind of giving it to everybody at that point. But nobody wants to
work. You don't want to rap. You don't want to rap against 1990, 91 Rakim. You don't want to do that.
I'm telling you, nobody, period, wants to battle Rakim in his prime. Nobody in the history of rap. I believe that. I believe that. He hadn't been in a full-out battle,
Mike,
but I believe that.
Prom Kane and KRS had a shot, but it's like, no, I wouldn't do it.
No, man. Where he was taking the lyric. If that song...
where I'm putting my money.
If, not Don't Sweat the Technique, but you know what I'm talking about. Let the Rhythm Hit Him. If Let the Rhythm Hit Him is about Kane, I understand why there was no response. That nigga's going crazy on there. Now, if that's a warning shot record... Jesus. If that's your charged up, man.
Mike, if those are warning shots, don't ever shoot at me. Those are warning shots. Don't shoot at me.
I mean, because, what really gets me is on that video when the dude with the flat top is dancing like Kane on the stage and Rakim and them come and snatch him off the stage. I'm like, oh, man.
The disrespect is real.
Man. Oh, man. All right, and on that note, we're getting out of here, man. Y'all have a great Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy your holiday. And, yeah, man, we're going to holler at y'all next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.